Come on. Look at Jeremiah.
He said you didn't know.
I don't know, but this one's about to get.
Oh, God.
We might break the internet here. And then we're going to do this one. 3, 2. We're already live on these ones. 1. And then, like I said, we'll do one of these.
Nice.
So it's not awkward. See? Blake Wall in house. Yeah.
Say Blake Wall in the house. Woo-woo.
Well, we haven't started drinking.
No.
For
sober.
Sober at 10 a.m. Blake Wall.
And still weren't drunk last night, so.
You didn't?
We're not hungover from last night.
I didn't drink last night either. Okay, here we go. Blake Wall on the show. If you don't know who he is, if you're going to get to know who he is, dear friend of mine, grew up in Palm Coast, Flagler. Man, I can't wait to talk to you. I haven't talked to you
extensively in a long time.
Extensively. I was talking to Camille about it today. I said, well, I ran into you at Golden Lion.
I don't know.
Must have been a year or two because Scotty didn't have the kid yet.
Yeah.
And then
I actually talked to my sister driving down yesterday, and she said, when was the last time you talked? And I said, we text every once in a while, but like extensively talked.
Right.
Like 2 New Year's ago, and then this past New Year's for like a second.
We've always kept the texting alive, and I'll tell you I love you, and then send you some I'll sext you up, text you. But yeah, it's been a hot minute, and now for those that don't know, because I've got some chronological to keep up on too. We graduate, you leave off to the military. Want to take it right from there?
I was everywhere, man.
Yeah, you were like everywhere. But let's take it. You go to the Marines.
Army.
Yeah. You leave. And did you do, I forgot how many years you did.
I did 10 years.
You did do the full 10.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I
Especially
forgot.
people who know me now. They're like, how'd you do 10 years? You don't look that old.
Well,
Not that I look young.
You made it a career, but man, we were still in touch then. So to some capacity, when you come home, I would be able to hug you and see you.
The big thing was when I moved. That was kind of, I guess, where we lost touch to some degree. And anyone, like you've talked to a lot of people on the shows, there's some connection to Flagler people always have. And then anyone who's been in the military, Raby's talked about it. Kes talked about it.
Right.
It's a very ease when you see someone to get right back into things because you're used to being gone and back all the time.
Right.
So like it's like your friendship never goes inside you, even though you may not have seen someone in like 5-10 years.
Well, there's a bond that's like unexplainable. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, you have no idea how much I love you, and I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Yeah. I didn't know where this was going to go because you were like, hey, I need a veteran on the show. I was like, I can do that.
Well, since then, I've had a handful.
I know you had all of them. I was like, maybe he don't want me on the show anymore.
No, I still want you on the show because I'm not really keeping like track of views and whatnot, but dude, people are loving when we've got some alumni, some FPC alumni on the show. And I've had some of the greatest comments come in where they're completely stuff I would have never, remember when I started my little clothing business?
Yeah.
And then like the genre of people that started wearing the clothes, totally not what I had planned, but I went with it. It's the same thing. I started the show because I'm doing this anyway. We would literally probably be doing this anyways to some capacity.
Right.
Let's make it live.
Without a microphone.
Without a mic. Make up 2 of these. We're going to have to cover at one point too why you're Tipton on the show. And I know Mr. Tipton now in life.
Hilarious.
I hope I didn't confuse anybody. But so the chronological, now you're back. I remember you come back. You had served.
So I left in right out of high school, went to Florida State. It was funny. I almost went to West Point. My dad's a West Point grad. United States Military Academy for people who aren't familiar. The Army Academy. And was like, making that decision between my summer between junior and senior year, basically. So I was 16 at the time, making a life decision like that. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. So went to Florida State, first semester there, 9/11, September happened. So for various reasons, that included, wound up dropping out of Florida State and joined the military anyway, just versus being an officer was enlisted. So fast forward, we can talk about my military career as well, but I'll just give the overview and then we can jump back in however you want to. Fast forward 10 years, a couple deployments in and out of Flagler. I worked full time at the State Emergency Operations Center in St. Augustine for this. Basically, it's called the Florida Joint Operations Center for the Air Guard and the Army Guard. anyway, 1 year left on my contract, was deciding whether to get in or get out. And by get in, I mean re-enlist. And I decided if I was going to stay in, I wanted to be an officer. So to be an officer, I have to have a degree. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do to get my degree? Not what do I want to do, but not where do I want to go, but what do I want to do, kind of thing. And I was trying to translate my background in the military, which is field operations or infantry for anyone who's familiar. And started looking into wilderness leadership programs. Narrowed it down to 3 schools, one in Arizona, one in Wisconsin, one in North Carolina. You actually went up and looked at me where I was looking at houses. The first house I almost bought, put an offer in, and actually had a better offer, the best offer on the table, but someone else had an all-cash offer, so I lost that house, which actually worked out better because same road actually is the house I wanted to buy, but much better like investment income potential in the future. So I started Brevard College. A year in, I was trying to transfer around my units as a reservist, and I was strictly in Florida at the time, trying to interstate transfer. Around that time, this is 2011, 2012 timeframe. Then President Obama was kind of downsizing the military, and then state assets at the state level as well. So could not find anywhere to interstate transfer, and I actually was promoted and transferred to a unit down in Miami, and it just wasn't feasible to travel there once a month while going to school,
right?
And playing college football.
I remember that too.
And so wound up getting out. I put in a request or memorandum for record to my commanding officer at the time, and they let me out of my contract free and clear and no problem, even though I had re-enlisted. So my intent was to finish my college career and then go back in active duty or on the reservist side. And I met my now wife then. And
you did meet her in Miami?
No, I met her at Brevard College.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so she's about 8 years younger than me, and I kind of lived my dream, so to speak, being in the military, traveling around, doing that thing. And she wanted to be an attorney, so we talked about it. We talked about doing military, doing this, that, and the other. She wound up going to law school. I kind of held down the fort in North Carolina till she was done, and now we're kind of there full time.
I love it.
Completely just a regular old U.S. citizen.
Just a citizen with white squirrels running around.
Exactly.
I remember.
So that's the big recap. So we can dive into any timeline you want to.
Well, I remember a lot of the story, but I also, one of my favorite parts was when you started playing football again.
Yeah.
And we were keeping in touch, and you were telling me you were getting your ass hit.
Well, football's a rough game, especially when you're away from it for 10 years and jump back into it. I was D2. It wasn't full D1, but they don't hit any less hard. They're just a little bit smaller.
But dude, I was so happy for you and proud of you too, because I've always been playing soccer, and like obviously it's nowhere near the same kind of contact. But you got right back into it, the camaraderie, the athleticism.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Yeah, a couple stories about that, but the thing that jumped out over everything was I was older than everyone on the coaching staff except the head coach. So like the assistant coaches who would normally be like my drinking buddies' age,
right?
They're like, bro, like, what do we even tell you to do?
Right.
You're not going to go like, F around. You're not going to skip class. You're not going to do this. And yeah, there was a couple times like we're in mini camp before school starts, Hell Week, whatever you want to call it. And the head coach is, all right, everyone stay in their dorms, curfew, no drinking, no drugs. And he's like, they call me Pops. And he's like, Pops, I know you got your own place. You can drink at your house. Just don't go do it in town. So he's like, I know you're going to need it more than the ice bath. So you go ahead and have you some.
I remember I remember that too. Well, that's when we had the Gentlemen's Club.
Yes. That was.
I'm getting really bad with timestamps. You're good with dates.
Yeah. So that was I want to say, that was right after I came back from Afghanistan, I think.
Okay.
Because me and Chase were living together. So it was after my first deployment.
Where were you guys living together? Because I forget.
So
was that
me and Ty were living over in the end of the B-Tech section, almost in Matanzas.
Oh, I remember the house. Yes.
Chase moved over here from Tampa, and we got a condo in St. Augustine when I was working at the Operations Center. So I did about 2 years.
Remember when you were living in Flagler?
State time. Yeah. So that was literally right after my deployment. So that was 08-ish. the Gentlemen's Club, Chase living here, that, and it was you, me, and Jimmy G and Chase Floyd.
Mhm.
So
I remember, we're jumping all over the place. So if you're listening, then
I'll try to keep us on
just
track.
deal with it. This is for me. When you moved to Flagler, it was like what, a month or a week before 4th of July?
That was like May of 07. Because
And
I got back from Afghanistan in August of 06. Me, Jimmy, Jeremiah, Scott went down to the Bahamas. I lived at my folks for a little bit.
I remember that.
And then that's when I got back from that, like October, November of 06, started working at the club.
Yep. I was there too.
Yeah. Ocean Ham, what is it called now?
Poop Station.
Yeah. The Ginn property. Yeah. I don't know, it's changed names so many times.
Right.
But it was just the club back then.
Yeah, I remember that. We were running it. We were running things for a while.
And then I was working there full time, and that's when I still had my kind of like nest egg from being deployed and not owning a house or anything really. And so I just paid for 6 months in full up front.
They loved you.
And I quit my job at the club, and I just lived a block and a half from the pier for 6 months.
I remember we were
coffee shop by the barber shop.
We were in very steady contact then, and most of us, all his friends then, still, because we were just younger and had nothing to do. And I remember that was right before 4th of July. That was one of the, it feels like all the 4th of Julys were always great.
No, it was that summer.
one.
It was like May to October or whatever 6 months were.
Even John came home. John was there for that one. I want to say.
Well, what blew everybody's mind was not the party in general, but it was like we had parking for 20 cars.
I know.
And it was like we had it coned off, and it was like people were like, I don't have to be there at 5 a.m. to have a parking spot.
Well, for those that are listening, or if you weren't there, where the Flagler the board shack is, you were across the street from there in the bottom one. And wow. And then what a good memory. There was actually a lot of good parties you had there, just in general, not just the 4th of July one.
Yeah, we did a lot of dumbass shit there.
But so
and around Flagler Beach in general.
I talked about this with a lot of people we've grown up with, man. We're nowhere near, I think, as dumb as half these idiots now.
Well, we weren't
doing these crazy drugs and
for the most part weren't breaking the law. We did a lot of things we could have killed ourselves doing.
That's true. That I do talk to Jimmy about sometimes. I'm like, I'm really surprised that we did make it out alive.
We weren't driving because we could walk everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest knock back then. It was you had to Uber didn't exist.
I think,
and there was like one taxi. So if you didn't get it or reserve a limo or something,
Tico Taxi.
Exactly.
We kept he was my buddy because of the club. Yeah. And then Santos.
Yeah, using the Lincoln.
We couldn't afford Santos. Santos was, but man, there's some of the. But I talk about it. The people that we grew up with, man, I really do. I think, drinking in Scott's cul-de-sac, like that was our club. That's all we needed back then. I don't know, but I'm sure there's still that group of kids that aren't too crazy. But now that it's just that pill scene and the accessibility to all the jazz.
Yeah, drugs. And I think a lot of it. Not to digress, we're gonna get back into fun talk here in a second.
Back to drugs.
No, it's just I think internet, social media, all that. It's the visual access to like the real world, right? To kids that are too young to be ready to experience it. I think that's the main issue. I mean, we can talk about pills and all that all day, but I think it draws back to that. That,
and probably a lot of people do stupid things now because they know it's going to be captured and then shared. And it could go like
that's what I'm saying.
World Star Hip Hop, where it's like when we did.
Well, it started with us. It was Jackass, but it was on VHS.
Right, but you weren't the chances of getting when we
weren't going to be on YouTube the next day.
We didn't know. We didn't have that. It was just us, and whoever was at the cul-de-sac. Yeah, But no, so here. I remember the Gentlemen's Club was just a very good time in my life.
We had discounts at like, what was
I don't know. We set up there. It was quick.
At European Village, the bar.
Was it La Piazza?
No.
Mezzalunas?
No, the bar. It wasn't a restaurant at all. And our boy
Eckert's?
No. God, dude.
All right, well, hold on. For those that don't know, Blake and I were literally...
We got a black card, so we had like 25% off everything, all time, including liquor. It's you guys are going to come here regularly? Here, and everyone was so mad at us for it.
I know.
They're like, how'd you get that? We're like, we asked.
We formed a club. Well, all right. Blake and I were probably chilling for 7 days in a week, 6.5, like every day for months.
Dude, we had golf Sundays.
And
by golf Sundays, it was Wii golf in the living room.
We
didn't ever play actual golf.
How did we have so much time? You think about it back then. Well, we didn't have chicks. Well, we had chicks, but we didn't have we didn't have to.
Yeah, I guess the
answer to
biggest
anybody.
difference is whether you had a girlfriend or not, no one had to live in anything.
Correct.
And so the live-in was like another boy. Like
Yeah.
that was when I was living with Chase.
You were living with
I think
Chase.
Jimmy was still at his house with Tony.
I was
at his
probably
mom.
living with Teresa at the time.
Yeah, you were with Felipe.
Yeah, I was living with Teresa.
Yeah.
And we're free as we were young adulting. We were starting to have time. We had $10 to our name, and we formed this club. Now looking back on it, people they're probably like, that was so stupid. But you have to understand.
No, it's funny because it's like a thing now.
Yeah,
we were
now
ahead of our time.
way ahead of our time.
Yeah.
What were we probably? We were just about kissing.
Well, it's the same time,
22?
11 years ago. So however old you are now, minus
35.
11. So you were 24.
Wow.
So,
We formed the Gentlemen's Club.
I was
Jimmy,
24.
Jimmy Gagliano,
Yeah.
Blake Wall,
Chase Floyd.
myself, Chase,
Jimmy was Ox.
Mr. Oxford,
Oxford, but we called him the Ox because I mean
He
he's
just
a big ass
bulldozing
bull.
things over. Do you remember
Wellington
Wellington? All was well with
Tipton.
Wellington, Tipton,
and Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. Yes. And actually, on a tangent, do you remember when Jimmy ripped the urinal off at
In the bathroom.
at the was it Reggae Sunday?
Oh my god!
Do you remember that?
Yes, I was thinking when he passed out in the bathroom at.
Which time? Dude, I remember like there's this blips of this. I remember reggae. We would go to Reggae Sunday. I remember just you were always the guy that you were like you were
Point
like
man.
a point man. You know, like I remember you were just like gotta go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course, typical Reggae Sunday, a lot of women around,
Pop
we're having
smoke,
blast.
time
I'm
to roll.
probably ordering 5 drinks for
Yeah.
us anyways. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you're like,
Close out, give him to
we
somebody.
gotta go. And I'm like, what happened? You're like, no, there's no question.
Yeah.
There was no questioning.
It's time.
And I remember, like, I think there was a lot of carrying, a lot of blood and puke. There was all
I love how
types.
this has become a Bash Jimmy podcast.
Well,
Love you, Jimmy.
hey, love you, Jimmy. He might be in transit. I think he was just in the
I saw
Bahamas.
him in. So his. Not to digress. Did his company pay for that?
I
That's
think
awesome.
so. Yeah, I think
I saw Amy posted.
shout out to
something
his
about
Grill and Hearth, man.
Yeah.
It was like a work trip. They went to Bahamas.
Yeah,
And hopefully,
that's-
if he made it back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's different than when I went to the Bahamas with him, or when I went to
Why
Costa
did you
Rica
guys-
with you.
Well, oh God. Blake, I feel bad for the listeners today. It's not that. This is our show today. Listen, that Costa Rica trip will live.
That whole thing started because you and
Why
me
would-
were on the phone. You were in country,
I was living there.
as in Costa Rica, and he
Mhm.
goes, "Wait a second, you 3-way in Jimmy." Or actually, you were on Jimmy and you 3-wayed in me because Jimmy's like, "Let's plan a trip." So
I wasn't 3-waying anybody because I barely was. I was probably
well,
talking
whoever,
on like
somehow it was you two
was using
on
a
the phone,
Caterpillar to
or
talk
me
to
and
you.
you on the phone, or me, and then I was like, Jimmy had brought up the idea of going down there, and I was like, I either 3-wayed you, whoever. It wound up being the 3 of us on the phone call, and then like you said, like the trip situation, I just set it up. I was like, cool, I'm going.
You've always been the guy to put up trips together
Yeah.
quickly, accurately.
Yeah, so and I do it,
cost-effectively.
and I'm saying that I'm going here. If anybody else wants
Yep.
to go,
But you're always cool about it. You do what my one rule now I have with Camille is like when she wants to go somewhere, I need just an Excel spreadsheet of like costs
yeah,
so I can be like, okay, I can live with this.
yeah.
You always would do that
Yeah.
for the parties that be like, hey, look, this is the trip, this is the cost. If this is the cost with 5, 4,
Yeah.
3, I'm going either way.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best memories at that time of my life when it was what an
So you don't. It's not a
entourage.
good memory anymore.
No, are you kidding me? I still look back on that. You have to understand that's a very dear,
I know.
more
I get it.
dear
I know,
because
'cause
Matt,
I know.
I mean, think about it. Like, I can remember.
And that was like it was one trip for you and me, but it was like 2 separate trips because we had to drop off and pick up different travelers, and then we were in 2 different parts of the country.
Yes.
Well, really 3, but our home base was where you live. We went to
Do you know?
to Jaco and to Arenal.
I hadn't even really been to most of the places that I think I had been to Ardenal, but what you had put together. I hadn't really been to the beach
Yeah.
except for once in a year-ish. And you guys come and bro, my immediate Ticos, like my homies that I
Yeah.
had made, especially the guy that owned the hotel.
Yeah.
Do you remember going to get beer the first time
The
in the
Daily
grocery
News.
store?
The Daily News.
What happened to the Daily News?
Daily is his name. So we called him the Daily
Driver.
News.
Yes, I was like, "What are you talking about?" We were in the news. I didn't know. Do you remember though going to the grocery store and like anything in quantity. The minute you leave the States, this is hard to get. Like anything of one thing,
right? And there's in the States, it's like, do you want to buy this bottle of water for $2 or the 5-gallon thing for $1.50? So we're used to buying in bulk and getting a discount. There's no bulk discount. If this is $1, 20 of them is $20. There's no discount.
There was no discount,
which makes sense. I don't understand why America's, but I'm down with
it. I remember going out of the grocery store and you had
pallets of beer,
pallets,
and then we ran out, and it's upcharged at the bar.
Of course,
we're like, how do you have? We need these in our room. Can we take a couple pallets back? And they're like, what do you mean? We're like, we need like 48. We need 2 cases. You call them 6-packs, but I need enough for 48. How much does that cost? They're like, it's too much. I'm like, it's not. What's going to be too much is if we don't have any more, because then we're going to get wild.
I don't know if this is good that we're admitting this, but I'm sure if you didn't, then you missed out in your life if you didn't have those times. But my buddies talked about you guys for weeks after you left. They must have they literally hit the lottery. Imagine what their revenues look like in the wherever we travel, places were like ding 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 ding.
Yeah, it was like a cruise ship came through. We're like, no, it was 5 people.
It was that was just such a good. Do you remember somebody swatted me in the ass? Was it you? Somebody I lost a bet or something.
Oh yes, I have that on video. By the way,
I want those. We got to someday combine.
Well, there's the internet we can drop.
I know. Well, don't put it on a
Google share.
What if we started putting it on the internet?
Public documentation.
We all lose our public opinion. I remember we're on our way to take an 8-hour bus ride.
Yeah.
Our own bus though.
Yeah.
And I had to bend over, bare ass, bamboo.
It was at the top of the hill. A driveway. We were kind of walking down
so hungover.
Yeah.
Just wanting to die.
And I don't remember why.
I think I lost a bet or something.
You did, but I don't remember.
We were always betting. There was some kind of card game going on. I could have just said I could jump from there to there. That's how those things happened back then. I could have said hey, I bet you I can get on that horse, and I didn't. And I had to pay for it. Remember the horses?
I got kicked by that fucking horse. Sorry for the F word on the internet.
It's okay. We just get booted. No, honestly, Facebook keeps booting us, but I don't care. Dude, I do remember. Remember, I wouldn't go on a lot of the excursions. A, because I was broke as a joke. I had like $300 in my name.
Yeah.
And 2, I was like, I need to live. Like you guys were. I was like, if I get hurt, I'm going to a hospital here, and I'm not going home. You guys went to the horse, and I remember you got clipped.
Yeah.
The horse back, didn't he kick you in
the horse
shin?
In front of me kicked me. Yeah, he was going downhill. It was like a transition, and it traversed from, I guess, level to a decline. And my horse kept getting close to the horse in front. It just wasn't going. And it got too close one time, and it was on the downhill, and it picked its hind leg up and I thought it exploded my shin. Thankfully, it didn't because of the angle it just rode up, which tore all the skin off.
Yes, it did.
They tried to give first aid and tell me they were going to call this, and I was like, "You're going to bring it to me. I'll take care of myself."
Right.
And then we got back to where you guys were at the hotel, and I took apart my Mach 3 and took one of the razor blades out and cut the dead skin away to.
I remember you dealing with that, and I was like,
Eric Scott's there, ready to throw up, and Eric comes in. He's already smashed because that's what Eric does. He comes in and he's like, "All I got to say is, bro, I'm so glad it happened to you and no one else. Because if it was anybody else, the trip would have been over."
Honestly, it probably would have. I would have been airlifted. When you walked in, and you always have been very stoic with just issues, life issues. You've always been able to kind of put them somewhere, deal with it. When you walked in, I remember I can remember it was the setting. We were by the volcano. And once again, I think I'm lounging, smoking a cigar. I think somebody else didn't go. Molly didn't go. I don't think.
Scott didn't go because he doesn't do horses.
Scott don't do horses. Give me 5.
It might have just been me and the Lemus.
Matt definitely went because Matt was recording everything. Yeah,
probably the 4 of us.
Lindsay probably went too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, yeah, she wasn't a Lemus at the time.
Right.
The Lemuses.
The Lemuses. Yeah. And then you walked in. I thought, oh my God, it didn't look. It was gouged.
Yeah, because that skin's just so thin. Yeah. So it just, you can see my shin.
But you did. It was Eric is 100% correct. If that was anybody else, it would have been trip over, airlift me out of here.
I just needed, an hour and some tequila, and I was straight.
And then we did the volcano, and then we went to remember you guys bungee jumped?
The first thing we did. I set
the
that
first
up.
thing.
The bungee company. So there was twofold. We all wanted to go bungee jumping, but I also didn't want to pay for like $100 transfer from the airport to our hotel. So I got the bungee jumping company. They agreed to pick us up because I had so many people bungee jumping. Pick us up for free and transfer us for free from the airport to the bungee jump, and then from the bungee jump to the hotel, so we didn't have to pay for a taxi. And we got the bungee jump.
I look back on it now, and of course, everything that was being made fun of is right. Like I look back, maybe should I have done it to make a memory? But I was petrified. Living there as long as I did, and knowing that you guys are probably jumping off of this thing with like rubber bands.
Well, yeah.
I was like, I can't.
Well, that was the whole thing. I mean, the whole flight in, because we all, I think for the most part, were on the same flight that landed. Like we all made connections. We're on the same flight, but
right.
We're like, well, this trip's going to be awesome or shitty, and we're going to know in about 20 minutes.
Yep. I remember. Didn't Scott go last? I think he went last.
I don't know, but we all jumped off. And Scott, I have that on video too.
That's some of the best footage.
Scott the guy's like jump, and Scott locks his knees and just leans forward. Like his feet didn't come off the platform until he was upside down. Like he was just touching the whole time.
And I can't blame him. I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing with the fact that, because knowing that he's not into that kind of stuff either. Like I know, he's not Mr. He did skydive though.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, he's told. Yeah, and that's the last time he'll do either of those things.
Yeah, he did it.
He's like, that's off the bucket list. F you guys for making me do that.
But that bungee, being there and witnessing it too was just as hilarious, because it was petrifying. I remember when they were making you guys sign the waivers, and Scott literally was like reading through it, like what are we doing here? You guys were just like, oh.
Well, yeah. So I did do my due diligence. That was the only bungee jump place in the country that was certified by whatever it is, the American Bungee Jump. The only one that was certified by the United States certification process. It's since been shut down because
of course it has.
They let that certification expire and kept doing it, and then eventually somebody died or some bungee jump busted. It was a bad situation.
But you guys did it. Then
we made it though.
We went bungee jump, volcano, beach, right? I think.
Yeah, no. Beach was first.
Beach was first.
Yeah, beach was first, and that was on the leg where Chase was with us, and we did Hako, and that was over 4th of July. Oh, yeah. And then on the way back in, literally, it was a drop-off pickup situation.
Who left?
Chase.
Chase left as
he didn't do the volcano.
He left as we picked up Matt?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Huh.
We spent on the way back in, we spent one night, San Jose? San Juan?
Probably. No, at the hotel.
Yeah, where was that?
That's in the mountains of Berry.
Well, okay, there we go. We did one night there where they overlapped. We picked up Chase, did one night there, dropped him off. Picked up Matt, did one night everybody together. The next day, dropped Chase off at the airport, and then went on to R&L. So Matt wasn't on the Hako portion.
Right. The beach part was, or no, but I do remember the beach part too.
Yeah, we were in that expat village.
I remember I had to go to sleep. Molly was pissed at me or something that night. Go figure. And I had to sleep on the bed with Daly on the couch.
Yeah,
I remember that, and I remember.
I'd love to get that guy's perspective of that.
I know, imagine. Well, I did. After a couple days afterwards, he told me you have to understand, they're all about making a couple bucks and enjoying their life. Right. And dude, we brought so much commerce to everywhere we went. I mean, and you have to understand too, even though we weren't doing like private this and private that, as far as like high end.
No, I mean, we were basically backpacking, but we had a local taxi
tour.
Driver.
Daly. I didn't at first. I was like, Daly. Remember his green car he had at the property? So I'm supposed to go back there because Billy Score lives, I think, now in Nicaragua, but he did a stint in Costa. He's all up in the Central Americas.
Yeah.
And he's made that's home now. Right. He's been home for a while. Him and I are staying in really good contact. Today's his birthday, actually.
Happy
birthday, Billy. I love you. And I'm like, I got to go back just for them to go. That's just such a special place for me. But when you guys came in, I needed that more than anybody. It was really in a dark place.
So many times. I mean, since then, but at the time, you like to thank me. I don't know how many 100 times. That might have been why you got slapped. I was like, quit thanking me.
That was at the beach, I think. That was just a special time. Okay, so now we're back home. Gentlemen's Club. I think we totally skipped the Gentlemen's Club. But whatever. We were hanging out.
It was the reason. It was actually congruent. was like in that timeline because that was the same time Chase was living here.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And we were doing the gentleman's club. I had a lot of time because you weren't working either. That's why we had so much time. Were you not?
No,
you were like in between.
I know I was working at the Joint Operations Center, but I was making active duty money working for the state,
right.
But I didn't have to live on base. So, I mean, when you get active duty, anyone in the military, get active duty pay, but then since they didn't have base housing, I was getting BAH or housing allowance, and the housing allowance is taxed. Anyway, basically everything fell into place. I didn't have a car. My vehicle was paid off. I was just paying rent on a house. It was like whatever. And
I've always lived broke, so I had a couple bucks. And
you remember that was back before Apple Pay and all that stuff. I only had one debit card. I didn't even have a credit card at the time, and I lost my debit card.
Where?
So it was when I was living in Flagler, like in the cesspool that was that apartment. I lost my debit card, so I had nothing. I had no way to pay for shit except for a checkbook. So we go out to the bar, and I asked if they take checks. Some of them did because they knew me. Other people didn't, and I was like, "You, whoever's out there, hey, I need you to buy my drinks tonight, and at the end of the night, I'll write you a check from my tab."
I do remember that.
Yeah.
You're always good for it, though.
Yeah, never disappoint.
But so we had the Gentleman's Club, and then that's when I did enjoy that North Carolina trip. Was fun too, going to see like a potential like your first house.
That was where we went through Atlanta for the Super Bowl and stayed at Eric's house.
Yes.
It was that the Packers and Steelers?
You're way better than that.
I think I
can't even remember last year's except New England. I don't even. It's one. It's.
That's easy. That was last.
You have a good memory these days. You've always.
I mean, yes and no. I guess it depends on who you ask.
I've told Camille today. I was like, I hope I'm not losing because I don't know. I feel like I can recall things, but then sometimes, like for instance, even with soccer, because there's so many of them, someone will say like, "Oh, did you see the game? You know, like remember the game 2 weeks ago?" And I'm like, I don't remember. I remember, but I don't remember.
Right.
I remember the name, like the teams and the score lines and stuff.
No, I'm not that bad.
All right, so here we go. We're like Blake Wald now. You're in North Carolina. Where are we? Are we
Brevard, North Carolina? So same town, not the same street. But for people who don't know, it's about 45 minutes to an hour southwest of Asheville, or about 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2.5 hours west of Charlotte.
Okay.
And if you need a different representation, we're about 2.5 to 3 hours northeast of Atlanta.
Now, you said you end up buying a house on the same street that we had looked at?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go figure. That's a nice little spot. It's quaint, quiet. I don't know what it is now. It was a few years ago. But
no, it's
right on the side of the mountain.
Protected, yeah.
I remember that.
It's literally the same side of the road, but farther down the road. So it's a river valley.
So what's the plan right now? Are you locked in North Kakalaka for a
while?
I
mean, that was we call it the Brevard hustle. It's such a small town, and it's like most people there to survive, unless you have a legit like professional job, are doing 2 or 3, bartending or a part-time job, similar to Flagler. Honestly, if you don't have a real job, not the bartending or whatever is not. That's why I use the quotes. You're just hustling. What can I do to get by and make it happen? Because I love living in the place that I live. And so if that means sacrificing maybe my dream job, but you have to live in Atlanta or DC or whatever to have the life you live, but you don't have the job you want. Like a lot of people make that sacrifice every day. So we did that for a while. While I was in school, when I got out of school, my wife was going through law school when she got back, but hadn't taken the bar or passed the bar yet. So we were both hustling, doing our thing. So fast forward to today, she's a full-time attorney for a law firm. It's got like 14, 15 branches between North Carolina and South Carolina, but she runs the Brevard branch by herself.
Wow.
And I'm the director of operations for a naming and branding firm.
I saw that when you posted that not too long ago.
So, I mean, not to digress about my job, but we're number 2 worldwide. It's all internet-based. Mm-hmm. So we're literally direct competition with LA, Paris, New York City firms, and we just don't have to pay the rent they do. So I think we put out as good, if not better product. But even that said, even if you said it was lesser or if it is equal, a lot of times people will come back to us, leads and say, "Hey, we really like the product you're putting out, but can you?" Actually, I did it with this morning and under an NDA, or I'd tell you who it was. But signed a client this morning. just negotiating a contract to come down on our prices a little bit, and it doesn't hurt us as much. So
I'm proud of you for that, because that's it gives you the liberty of being able to, you're remote.
Yeah,
it's a powerful thing.
Yeah,
it's very for those that like the corpo side of people, when they kind of corner me metaphorically, so to speak, and they're like, so like, where is your happiness? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, how is this? I say, look, man, you've known me since like my whole life. To be able to carve a lifestyle and not have to answer to somebody, and to treat people who I would want to be treated, and to be able to deal with such an array of different businesses. It's so fun, like to have someone who is a dog walker all the way to coffee manufacturer,
right.
Like it doesn't seem no Groundhog Day effect, but it's very precious to me and I hold it very dear. And I saw you post that a while back, and I was like, hell yeah. I didn't know if it was your own hustle or if you were with someone at the time, but either way, it's in you now. And like now you have options as you grow with them, or if you're ever given the opportunity to start doing your own little side hustles.
Yeah. I mean, I have full intention to, when I kind of went on there, I actually transitioned. So just recently, before I took that job, I went back and got my master's degree. I got a master's degree in construction management, and
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was working.
Keep going. I'm getting some coffee. You want anything? Is it beer time yet?
No. I mean, are you ready for a beer? All right.
So you got your master's?
Yeah. And so from there, went to assistant director of construction.
This is all in North Capilano?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was working.
Was it the same school that you had went to?
No, actually, I got my master's degree from San Diego New School of Architecture and Design.
Wow.
So mostly remote. So I was able to do it online. Hard school or hardscape, however you want to, brick and mortar school. The closest one I could have went to was either Clemson or Western Carolina. And either way, I would have to commute an hour to an hour and a half on a regular basis, which means it would have been very difficult to work.
Right.
So I continued working for a construction firm that I was working for at the time. They allowed me to kind of scale back my hours to do my school. And when I graduated from them, which they knew, it was completely transparent the whole time. I was like, this is what I'm trying to do with my career. So if you guys don't have a career arc for me and you can work with me, which they did, I mean, good at my job, but then also a good person, show up on time, which in construction is a lot. Right. So I applied and got a job, assistant director of construction for an architecture and construction firm.
When's timestamp?
Hendersonville. This is last May.
Oh, so not
literally a year ago.
Wow.
And I worked for them for about 4 months and loved my job, not my place of employment kind of thing, like who I was working for.
Okay. Oh, you liked what you were doing, but just not who you're doing it for.
Yeah. And I just kind of fell into place. Phil Davis, the president owner of the company I work for now, I'd known him for about 8 years, and they had never really had one in the operations, like business side, not non-creative side of, design or interneting or whatever you want to call it. Right. And so like, we need someone to like herd the cats, keep us in a straight line, and asked if I was interested. And about the same time, I was just kind of had it up to here with the other employment. We were also moving our headquarters from Hendersonville to Asheville, which for me would have doubled my commute. So one way I was going to be between an hour and 15 minutes, just because of traffic and what that does during rush hour, plus long days. Anyone who works construction knows how that goes. And so all of that, the perfect storm to the shift to this job I have now. And I work a mile and a half from my house with people I enjoy working with.
Right.
And it's a different industry, but 85% of my job that I left directly translated, because just operations, budgeting, onboards, clients, and all that correlates back to my time as NCO, or non-commissioned officer in the Army of Operations, the Emergency Operations Center in St. Augustine. So everything is tied in somehow, even though it looks like I was, I was wilderness leadership. I was operations center. I was, before I worked at the architecture firm and construction, I was a assistant general manager of a health and racket club.
I remember that.
So literally all industries over. But if you looked at what like duties and responsibilities of the jobs I had in those industries, they were all very similar.
Yeah. But you've always, as a person, has been able to take authority in the situation and like just seeing you for the first time in so many moons. And like, remember the dude that was just asking about the fencing? I don't know if I was talking gibberish or if it was.
Yeah, I was like, they're not getting what they're saying.
But I mean, I'm just getting going for the day too, so I don't know if I'm not being articulate enough. But
no, you were. He just didn't get it.
Right? Okay. Because
I got it, and I knew what his issue was.
Yeah, and like for those that don't, well, obviously nobody knows, but Blake's walking in. I sent him to the wrong house like an idiot. I hit 9 instead of 0, and you're calling me. And you're like, I thought maybe you were gonna be like, hey man, I'm like running late to this. And you're like, hey, I'm here, and I'm like, what? So Blake's walking up, and at the same time, simultaneously, a neighbor is coming up and wants some fencing I'm getting rid of. So I'm like, yeah, man, just take it.
He's like, what do you mean?
I'm like, it's yours. He's like, yeah, but what do you want for
How much
like,
does it cost?
It's yours.
And he's like, well, that guy's picking it up. When do I need to be? He's like, hold on a second. You can have whatever you want. As soon as you pick it up, whatever you don't take, the lawn boy from across the street is going to pick it up and take it away. And it's free.
But I love that was like, it was the best way of like, there's Blake, because you always make things you just have discernment, you have authority, and you've always been good. You got like you're just clarity. And I remember no matter what, through childhood, even through like semi-adulthood, you always were able to like everybody turns to you for I remember when you started working at the resort, and bro, you took like the most circus operation
chaos,
and you were always my like, Blake, I need you.
Well, the big thing, and I think Raby, military background. Military, you really learn it, but even if not, I kind of learned it at younger ages. No matter what you're doing, you can only do one thing at a time. So if you're waiting tables, a bar back, if you're parking cars, if you're checking someone in, there could be 1,000 people in line or 2 people in line, but you're only helping that one person in that moment. So just take a breath and do it. You're capable of it. You've done it 1,000 times.
Right.
Who cares how many people there are? Make that one person in front of you as happy as you can make them. And then if someone's irritated, it took a little while because they were 10th in line. When they get there, you make them happy. Yep. And then they forget that it took a while because you treated them right. So do your job in the moment as best as you can, because you can only do one thing at a time. And if you do that, people recognize it and they'll advocate for you or support you when it's the other way around. Like when shit goes crazy and you're like, boom, boom, boom. Hey, I need this to this room, this to this room. Hey, this car can wait. This guy's like, he always calls 30 minutes ahead. Leave that car down.
Yep.
And just controlled chaos. That's what we call it.
You always did it, and I've always loved that about you. I'm imagining now, just like in your job now.
People were pissed. Wow. I was there for like 3 weeks, and they made me the night lead.
Yeah. Well, that's because you have to understand too. Like you said, I was like the head concierge at the 3 to 11 shift.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm sure I was not the only one that was. At the end of the day, the night people, I just loved my night shift, and the night folk would come together, the MOD, the night, and all the leads of every department, and everyone was always advocating for whoever was the less bullshit going to get stuff done, because the MOD wanted one thing: his dinner, and not talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I wanted one thing. I want these people to get checked in as fast as possible, out of my face, and happy. I don't want them linger. And same thing with you, like just get it done. Keep the porta. Yeah. I never had heard that word before there, by the way, porte cochere.
Yeah, porte cochere.
Porte cochere.
Yeah.
Never even heard it till then. What is that, French?
And so it was for the carriage house where that's where it goes back to.
I always hated that word.
When the horses would pull in on the carriage and they wanted to get out of the carriage and not get rained on. So it was just a drive-through basically. Now it's used for cars, but that's where the term goes back. It goes back to horse and carriage.
But keeping that clear.
Yeah.
That was a big thing too. So you're not blocked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a lot of people didn't like me either too. And they're still there. So get pissed. But
haters gonna hate.
And dude, I remember you, 100% probably. It never bothered me, but you were my.
Yeah.
We had a few good ones. You know who's still there? You remember Miles?
Court.
No. Is it Miles Court? Is it last name? I always called him Sector 2.
Yeah, Miles Court.
It is like, you're right. It is last name Court.
There's that memory. I don't know where
I always call him Sector 2. I still see him once in a while.
I think that's right. We'll look it up later. I'll be wrong. I'm like, whatever. But to your point, I made you feel like I was right.
Yeah, you see what you did there? Miles Corey. Like, I just went with it.
Court, like basketball.
Miles Court. That is it.
Yeah.
That was it. So, yeah, I saw him the other day, and I think he's still there. But another one of those guys you could just, hey, man, the room is on fire. Can you get their bats? Move, you know what I mean? Like, no, just get it done. But, yeah, it was, so I'm happy for you. So you got You have dogs. You always had a dog or two. You had any
Yeah.
pups?
So, well, I never owned my own dog. It was like my parents' dog or whatever.
Right.
And then when I moved in, so I bought a house in June of 11, moved in July of 11, and got a dog in September of 11, and Trooper.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
I'll tell you about the dog.
named
So
Trooper.
named the dog somewhat military style, right? And then I got a dog tag, got his name, number, my phone number. Born in the USA, commanding officer, have my name on it. So, super gay if you're not into that, but I'm into it. So, and not gay derogatory. You guys know what I mean. Like back in the 90s,
Right.
it was okay to say.
It was all right. I remember Trooper.
So every year on his birthday, this is the real kicker. And then people started thinking it was cool. First, I was like, oh, he's too into it. Every year on his birthday, I promote him.
No way.
I swear to God.
I love you.
So he's 7 years old. He'll be 8 in June. So he's an E7, which is Sergeant First Class.
He's not officer yet.
No, man.
He needs a degree.
Well, right. And so you can't just, God, anyone. Donald. I can't reference Donald because he was just on, but also local military guy. He was enlisted first and then became an officer. The best officers, not that there aren't good ones on both sides, but in my experience, have always been enlisted first because they get the bullshit. They've been through it.
Right.
And then, so when they're telling you to do something or whatever, instead of having a kid just out of college that's 21, 22 in charge of people's lives,
Right.
You have a guy that was enlisted for 5 years and does. So not only has he done the job you did, he has another 5 or 6 years just general life experience behind him. So that means a lot more and carries a lot more weight when he tells you to do something. So anyway, Trooper, he has to go
E7.
through that. Yeah. A puppy cannot be a lieutenant, even though lieutenants act like puppies.
This is great.
But a private, just no rank. We called them fuzzies because now they got the Velcro. When I came in, they didn't. They had the old pin backs. But anyway, so he's a Sergeant First Class. He's going to be a first sergeant. Well, a master sergeant because it's the same pay grade, but master sergeant's kind of like operations. First sergeant's in charge of people, which brings me to the other point, which is a little sad. We got a second dog.
Okay.
And he is 2, would have been 3 in November. We just put him down about 2 months ago.
Damn.
We couldn't figure out what was going on with him. So he was a husky. His name was Chinook after the helicopter.
Chinook.
So we went on the kind of the Inuit or Native American to Alaska for people who don't know what Inuit means. But Chinook's actually the Army, U.S. Army's helicopters are all named after Native American tribes. And Chinook is actually a Pacific Northwest tribe. And it's the largest and fastest helicopter in the U.S. Army's arsenal. It's the dual prop.
The big boy.
Yeah, the big boy, which it's funny. It's the fastest, but that's why. It can't move that great, but
Right.
it can go straight line. Anyway, so he named him Chinook. Super cool for a husky, but also a semi-military name, so you can kind of catch on with Trooper Chinook, but
Right.
individually, if you didn't know that, it just sounds like a dog name, right?
Right.
Anyway, super cool dog. Loved him to death. Spent way too much money trying to get him fixed. And, what is one of those things they would just said, hey, he has cancer. It's going to be $8,000 to get him whatever. We could have been like, cool, we can make the decision, put him through chemo, whatever. Because he was only 2, like I said,
Right.
it wasn't like he was an old dog. So we want to do what we could. They just couldn't diagnose it. Kept going. So like roughly $10,000 later, we still haven't discussed. And he had a degenerative brain issue. So it was completely gene-based, irreversible, incurable. And he was just going down super fast. I mean, he had spent like 2 weeks at the hospital getting all kinds of stuff.
Did Dr. Brittany see him?
No, we actually took him to the University of Tennessee because they had where we were.
Where is she, by the way, on a quick
she's
tangent?
at Gainesville.
Okay, so yeah.
She's not at the University of Gainesville where her husband is.
Okay.
So we talked about bringing him down here, but
That's even more stress and time on the dog.
with the dog and us, right?
Yeah.
And
I see what you're saying. It's too
well,
much.
and then it was such a long drive. I mean, I was talking about it to be morbid, but this is, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I've worked on a farm and grew up somewhat in the country and around this kind of stuff. Is your dog's sick? A lot of people don't even go to the vet. You put it down, take it out to the pasture, put him down, bury him. He was so bad. I was like, I don't know if he'll make the trip to Florida, which means I may have to pull over on the side of the road and
That's
shoot
even
him.
worse.
Yeah, and then I'm not going to leave him on the side of the road, put a dead dog back. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was just like,
Was it
digressing really big
it's-
time into the dog story. So long story short, like 3 weeks of back and forth. Knoxville's about a 3-hour drive. So we made that trip like 7 times. Emergency room, this back and forth. They released him a couple times. He immediately digressed. So we just are down to 1 dog, back to Trooper. But we're looking at getting a new one here shortly. So either way, Troopers.
I can help you. We'll rescue one.
I
was I was invited to go to the largest no-kill dog shelter in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And we've always been animal lovers.
Yeah.
Especially dogs. They love dogs.
Man's best friend.
Yeah. We're like cuddly dog lovers too. I'm not like a serve me dog lover. I'm like I want to cuddle the dog. So I'm going to go see these dogs. I guess they've got literally hundreds and hundreds of dogs. They've got it's almost like, a lot of people buy specific dogs. Yeah. You can almost do that there.
Right.
Because there's so many.
Well, it's because they accumulate them from all across
everywhere.
The state.
So anyways, I'll keep my eyes open if you really want.
Yeah, I'm looking at one. There's one in Greenville, South Carolina, which is about an hour and a half from us. That they're the largest one in either North Carolina, South Carolina, or the tri-state area. So it's similar to the one you're talking about. Rescuing. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Both of the dogs were rescued.
Yeah,
so the husky actually wasn't purebred, but he looked. I mean, if you saw him, you're like, "That's the huskiest husky I've ever seen."
That's a husky.
Yeah.
For those that are buying dogs, stop, please.
Yeah.
I guess, and another thing too is stop going to SeaWorld. Are you a SeaWorlder? Don't go.
I've been one time.
Don't do it again.
And I almost got shit on by a bird.
See?
The guy standing beside me got shit on.
I keep seeing people post photos of SeaWorld, and I think, I don't know. Don't get me started. But anyways, it just rips my soul out. And I've never once. I told Camille this the other day. I don't need any props per se. But I've never posted one negative thing on social media. I didn't even realize that the other day. Not once. Not anything. And even borderline.
Is that? Hey, what do you guys think? Is that a slow clap? What is that?
But I thought to myself, if there's one time I want to is when I see people look at this. And I'm like, oh, God. But anyways, I'm very happy for you with the whole, you're going to get another poop. And that's what we call them. And I don't know why. Everything's poop lately. You have a word, you have a family word, you have a word that just seems to circulate around the house for a while right now. Do you have anything going on? You got a lot of poop.
For whatever reason, we don't have kids. We're working on having kids, but don't have kids. But bear.
Bear's just.
So I'm Papa Bear. She's Mama Bear.
See?
Trooper is Bubba Bear.
Bubba Bear.
Chinook was Wolfie Bear because he kind of looked like a wolf. So I don't know where, how, or why, but
it happens.
Bear.
There is I've now that we're all adulting and we're around the people we are that we've formed and we've wanted to be with. There's this new evolution of. I don't know why, but everything we do lately is all just poop it out. If I'm literally, I could say anything to Camille about, babe, did you look at the Airbnb we got to go to West Palm Beach? She'd be like, poop it out. I have no idea why, but we're just rolling with it. And but it changes. It's not always poop it out, but it seems to be sticking for a while.
That's funny.
Where's Blake Wall now? You've always been a pretty centered guy, but are you at peace right now? You got a good rhythm. You got where are you at?
I've always said that it's not to me. It's never where you are, or what you're doing. It's who you're doing it with, right? So I think I've always had that, whether it be friends, civilian friends, whether it be in the shit in the military with people, or there I am now. We always call us teammates. We're a team, me and my wife, and so I feel like I could be anywhere doing anything, and as long as we're together, that's. I don't feel like I could be any more centered or in my chi than that. So outside of that, just general everyday BS life, work. We're living through a renovation. So anyone who's lived through a renovation isn't
on a tangent. Is Scott done with his renovation?
Yeah, sort of. Okay. So from the main level and upstairs, all the living space is completely done.
Okay.
The basement is kind of like a man cave in process project.
Okay.
And they had stuff put in for a door on the main level, which to anyone, his basement's a walkout. So the main level, there's a door, but it's barred, so you can't walk out because there was no deck. So he's in the process of having a deck.
He's lived through the whole.
Well, he lived through it, but they didn't live there. They lived.
He did. Katie,
his wife.
Yeah.
Her parents have a house that's 5-10 miles down the road. So they lived there while that was getting done.
I thought he was there in the mix, and I thought Scott.
Well, he was in the mix as in typical Scott fashion there every day, if not for his own sake, because Katie told him to, and she don't play if you don't know her, so don't mess with her.
Poison don't play.
Katie V.
I could see Scott making sure shit is getting done right.
Yeah.
Real right. So you're in a renovation yourself now.
Yeah.
You're living through it's miserable. I know exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you asked about here. This was
it isn't it. So back to my point. It is, but it's not, because my wife's a trooper. Like, she deals with all the bullshit.
Yeah.
My bullshit, not even talking about life, and then you add life in. So, yeah, it's awesome. I wish it was over, but it's not.
Well, once
we're working through it.
It does have. When you look back on it, when we were gone for 6-7 months and displaced, and they were working and building, it probably wouldn't even have taken that long if I would have known what I'm doing. You know me really well.
Right.
I can't screw a screw. I can't do anything. So I was just completely relying on just every Tom, Dick, and Harry giving me, and most of those people were not true. Yeah. So I just was getting screwed. But anyways, point is, I'm back, and I look back on it now, and it was a blessing, because.
Well, I love it. Sorry, you finish your first.
And that's what I'm saying, is that once you're back, I'm sure you're like picking things out and doing what you want to do.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for me is I've always wanted to build my own house. So it's always been a dream of mine. And now, granted, we bought this house, or I actually bought it before we were married, but we both love it, and we're renovating it to make it ours.
Right.
Which is, it's built in the 60s, and everything's original. So
right.
I've always wanted to build my own house, and so this is not built from this, but I'm doing most of the work myself.
Are you really?
Yeah, fully gutted it.
Wow.
I'm subbing out the electrical and plumbing,
so,
but all the other stuff I've done myself.
Nice.
Put flooring, framing the walls, windows. Anyway, so even though it sucks from living, it's cool that I'm getting to experience that. And back to my wife again, agreeing to let me do that and live through it, because most women or significant others, male, female, whatever, may not agree or allow them to do. Yeah, because they're like, that's great, you might want to do it, but I'm ready to cut your throat. I want my bathroom back.
Right. I'm not doing this anymore. Well,
I'm tired of taking showers in the garage.
I forgot that you had.
We have a garage shower.
I remember when you met.
Basement shower.
The missus.
Yeah.
But you've always been. You're like one of the most romantic lovers I've ever. You are. You know.
We've had some moments
in that hot tub. Oh man! But you're always been a very committed dude. You were like, and I'm sure, like you said, it goes back to when I asked you, like, are you at peace right now? And you said, yeah, because you got what you're happy. You have your companionship. You have. And I look at this, and I tell Camille that all the time. I say, even when I'm having like a really shitty day, whether it's business or maybe, no matter what it is, I think how blessed we are to have companionship, man. It's a big deal. Yeah. And I think it's, I know a lot of people that don't have it, and I know it's tough. And those that share with me behind the scenes, that they're vulnerable and they're like honest and candid with me. Right. It's probably my biggest, excluding health, because finances, I've been through my highs and my lows. So like when I hear someone financials woes, like I want better for them, but I think there's always going to be a high, it will get better if you just don't stay idle. But companionship is very
keep moving forward.
Yeah, keep moving forward, and it will happen. And like if it could happen for me, it can happen for anybody. So if you just keep working, and like you said, do what you focus on, the one thing, that one job, the one for that moment.
Yeah, even if you want to be at destination X. And there's not one move that can take you there. Wherever you're doing right now, if you're unhappy, the only right move is to change it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the job you want, change the position you're in now. Because even if you're still working at an end goal, you can make yourself happier in the now. And so that's what the keep moving forward thing.
Right.
Is if you're unhappy and with the job, the relationship, whatever it is you are in now, change it. Even though your end game might be different than that change,
right? You
have the opportunity to be happier now. So do it. Who cares what people think?
No, I'm with you, man. I wish more people realized. We were talking about this yesterday on the show. The minute you leave, and that was a blessing for you when you did join the military, that at least you got out of the zip code. willingly or unwillingly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did it once to Tallahassee, but it didn't work out. Well, it did. I learned a lot.
But you gotta, I'm not, granted too, I did learn at a young age, thank God, if you're miserable at X, you'll be miserable at Y. It starts here.
Right, 100%.
But it can help bring that revelation, because I didn't know that. Like when I went to Costa, dude, I was still miserable.
Yeah.
Like I was such an idiot. Well, I was young. I was dumb. I thought living.
But you tried something. That's the point.
Right.
Is if you just stay in the same spot you're in, you won't know what you don't know, or you won't know what you don't like. You already know you don't like this, so try something.
Right.
And you might, by happenstance, find a job or a life that you didn't know you would love.
Right.
So,
and it was funny because to this day, those that know me and like the acquaintances that I have, they'll say, like, when they hear about because I didn't do the school, and they hear that was like part of my personal resume, like, oh man, you lived in Costa, and they immediately go to like the beach, like, I go all the time, my surf trip, and I'm like, you saw where I was living. I was living in the hood, G, and that was
a nice setup though.
It was nice. It was simple, but it wasn't anything.
I mean, it was free.
It was free. Well, I remember that was what I got. The guy said, you can live on my property in exchange for helping me build it. And
20 hours.
You guys, if there was one thing that I did, it was, not that I brought you, but like being the segue to getting that group. But once again, it
made it worth it to him. He's like, you just made me enough money. You want to stay another 6 months?
He loved it. He would have did anything for me. It was, and to this day, he's a great guy. He's a dear friend. But you gotta, I don't know, man. And I've always loved that about you and a lot of your immediate, like our friends and stuff. You gotta weed through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be high seasons and low seasons. And that's why the number one question that I seem to always ask somebody, even if it's just like we were checking in on a plane the other day, man, I could see the lady was just like, you're a ticket gate agent. So you imagine. And I've
seen some crazy ticket ladies, or ticket men for that matter.
This one actually wasn't even being grumpy to people. She was just getting thrown so much nonsense. And I was literally about to walk onto when they're like, they're herding us as cattle. And now the line's going into the specific one, because you're given the thing. Yeah. Everyone's like funneling in. And this dude comes like trampling in. Camille's in front of me. And I go to a different place when I
was in zone 1.
Dude, he's just
you already called.
I'm like, I go Radiohead, Bose, headphones. I disappear. Camille's like, I can't even hear half the time. Yeah. I go to a different place. I already have my eye thingy, the eye cover on, just so that I can
cucumbers.
I got my martini, dude. I'm like already zoning out. I'm disappearing, and this guy comes like literally comes barging in, like totally with his bags and everything. Goes behind Camille. Camille doesn't even realize homeboy's behind her, and the lady takes both their tickets because he thinks she's a couple.
Yeah.
So, and the dude like not even just thinking that he's going to be faster than everybody else, which we're like about to walk onto the next line. Homeboy is causing a stir with this lady now because she's like, "Sir, can you let him through?" And I'm just like,
so my thing for the airport. Unless it's like Southwest or something where you don't have a seat number, and it's just you board by zone, so you get to pick your seat.
Right.
Unless it's that scenario, even if I was flying somewhere first class, I sit in the little lobby area till everyone's on the plane, and they're like, "All right, last call." And I don't fight anyone. I don't do whatever. Everyone's sat down, and I generally don't need like a crazy overhead space. It's in my backpack, so it's going to go over the seat. I'm not fighting for it. Yeah, God, I don't understand. You're just hurrying up to wait to sit on the plane for 30 minutes. And it's hot. The fans aren't turned on yet because they haven't kicked up the turbines.
Everyone reeks, smells, and angry. Ridiculous. Let me tell you something. When you want to know, here's my opinion of like human beings. When you want to know where we stand as a civilization, as humans, go to an airport. And man, people are. I was just in the ruckus, man, and people just need to chill out and just shut up. Like chill, like everyone. How miserable can you be when you're like? There's people get cut, and obviously those that have traveled, we all know this, but it's getting like worse and worse. Like just chill, shut up and chill. And I bet you that's why, once again, to come full circle with this whole epidemic with just like abuse of any kind of substance, people are just running from shit. They're just running away from their reality. They're running away. It's easier
now, which full circle back to my social media situation or technology is. you can hide in plain sight because the life you live when people see you is different than the life you live online.
Amen, brother.
And you don't have to have friends because you have online friends.
Mhm.
You have 37,000 or 1 million followers, but you don't have someone that'll give you a ride to the airport.
That's really good.
I'm serious.
That's really, really good.
It's ridiculous. There's no personal connection because there's no
Yeah.
ownership of anything.
Do you know, to this day, when I still make a phone call and people are like, I think they're just so happy to hear a voice.
Yeah.
Like the good old phone call.
I still call people and they don't answer, and I leave like a 3-minute voicemail.
I love your voice. I think I have.
And I'm
all
like,
your
did you listen?
voicemail.
They're like, hey, I'm returning your call. I'm like, did you listen to my voicemail? They're like, no. I'm like, well, you wouldn't have called me back if you listened to it. I was actually trying to save you time.
Everyone who's listening that knows you,
Yeah.
your voicemail. I think I have all your voicemails saved. They are.
Well, some of them are not worth the shit, but
they're
now
all
they're
worth
very
something.
tactical and point
on the
based.
phone topic, on a complete tangent.
Jesus.
Once again,
I can't text if it's over one sentence.
You're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is gonna take way too long. Why don't we just hash it out on the phone?
Do a quick phone call.
The only time it's preferred if you're at a concert, you're at a
Right.
sporting event, whatever, and you can't talk because you literally can't hear or
The
they can't
audible
hear you,
nature is
or you have no service and the only thing you can get out is a text. That's the only 2 times it's truly acceptable.
Do you know that I've hit the 9 instead of
Yeah.
0 many times? And you know, when people do actually just text me when they're in the midst of being lost,
Yeah.
instead of the phone call.
Oh fucking no!
It's weird.
Sorry, Facebook.
Sorry, I wondered if we were. Oh, we're
F-bombed.
but you know, remember the little silver phone you had?
Oh my, the Zoolander.
That phone. Do you know? I actually was like, I wanted that. Like, who doesn't want a phone?
No,
that
for about a month, I got clowned on harder than anyone had ever been clowned on for a phone, and then the jealousy crept in.
Yeah.
People started being like, "Oh,
All right. So
maybe
those
that,
listening
maybe
that
that
don't
is
know,
cool." To have
Blake
that
used to
phone."
have a phone. Like,
It wasn't. That's bigger.
yeah,
This was it flipped open.
yeah, it was
Like,
unbelievable.
Yeah, if it was a little longer than this, it was probably about the size of that. Actually, that's about the same size. Well,
It was
anyway.
amazing.
Flipped open,
A flip
it would
phone.
not touch my ear and my mouth. It was like would come to like right here.
Had a little. I think it had a little antenna.
Well, and it didn't come out. It was a fixed antenna. It was like a half inch.
And I remember rolling. We were going hard in the paint those days.
God, that was
And then, do you
ridiculous.
remember?
I think I actually still have the phone at
Do
my
you
house.
really?
I mean, obviously it's not in
Should be in a
service, but I have
museum.
it.
Do you remember? That was the 20. I think I did my 21st in Orlando. I could be wrong.
When we stayed at the Embassy
Embassy
Suite
Suites.
and we went to the bar that
The free bar.
Jess worked at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to this day, I
and
love
we
like
suited up.
Scott Van
Riss
Dusen.
showed up. Riss,
Dude, that would be
it was you, me, Jimmy,
Eric,
Eric,
Scott.
there, and
100%.
then Riss. I remember we were all being.
How did Riss get in the mix?
I don't know. She just
She
showed
just
up
showed
from
up.
time to
She's
time,
like skydives in Riss. I really don't remember her connection.
and we
Someone-
got suited up.
we got really suited up.
Yeah, and we went to the. I don't remember what bar.
Well, I
that
remember the
was.
draft was going on, the
Did it?
NFL draft, because you guys made it a big deal. We were in the
Yeah, in
the
the-
lobby.
Yeah, at free happy hour in Embassy Suites.
They didn't know what was happening.
They're like, this is happy hour is like a social drink. It's not power hour.
We're like, can you
We're
just-
like, can we get 6 shots and 6 beers? Oh, Vinny, what do you want? Because those are for me. Because I only got an hour to order.
There's like we're in
and
like
there's
line.
a line.
We're like, okay. I remember then we had, I forget the room situation, but we always spoiled us. But shout out to Scott Van Dusen because he always spoiled me. I think he actually paid for that bottle service at that club that had that. Remember, we had that little section.
That was in Daytona.
No, this is Orlando.
I don't
I'm
remember us
pop-
doing bottle service there.
Yes,
I know we didn't. Well, whatever.
Yeah, Scott always.
Hey,
you
it's
know.
your show, man. Whatever you say.
No, it couldn't have been Daytona because we would have never sued.
No, I'm saying I've done suiting. The bottle service was Scott in Daytona, where he paid for it.
Okay.
I'm saying I don't remember the bottle service, the suit night in Orlando. Not that it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't remember.
You don't remember because
So I can't plausible deniability. But you were there. But was I?
Well, you had PP'd the bed and you broke your phone.
Oh,
Do you remember that? I remember that your
that's
phone.
happened. It happened. It's an accident. We'll move past that story.
I love you. When I remember waking up that morning and you were like trying to, as you know, we're trying to call someone or do something.
Yeah.
And I even remember back then too, Remember when like everyone had a phone, but not everyone's phone worked, or like if your phone died, it wasn't the end of the world back then either.
Well,
like we were rolling with Nokias and stuff, and I remember
you didn't need a phone.
You didn't really,
and
yeah.
the phones didn't have GPS yet.
Yeah.
So you still had to know where you were going and how to get there. So if your phone died, you weren't useless. But now people are like, where was I going? Where did I come from? How did I get there? Like, I don't know. Uber did it. My app's down, so I don't even know where I was last night.
Did I snap?
And I was sober, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's I kind of miss those days where it wasn't
All
so.
right, you done with this coffee?
Yeah, we're going for it.
For a beer now.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. They're in there. They're Heine's. You want to do a Heine?
I see something.
Okay. I think I saw the post. People wanted to call in or something. What if we actually really did take calls? We are taking calls now.
Yeah, it's like I don't think he's set up for that.
Blake, just to hear your voice it's very nostalgic and warming. Oh, so that drawer right there. Yep. Guess who calls me on my birthday and I'm on the phone for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, international getting hit.
John?
Yep. I'm literally I get a phone call and it came up as John, but I pick up the phone and because why they'll tell you in private later with some of the dialogue. But hey, salute.
I don't know if anyone else has done this.
Love you.
I'm gonna stand up too.
You're standing? You'll be the first stander. Go ahead, stand away.
I didn't mean to be the first.
Let's see if you're still in view. Yeah, you're in view.
So.
Wow, you're my first stander.
I'm old. I got the lower back issue going on.
Yeah, how are you? You health wise, all's good in the hood?
Yeah. I just, life.
Look at this. I didn't even know it could go that high. Wow.
I probably, you said the fist thing. I could probably talk from here. Because everyone who knows me, I don't have a quiet voice.
If people can't hear it, they start getting really grumpy. But
no.
So
cheers, by the way.
Yeah, I love you. I always ask people like who's your constants right now? Who are you keeping in touch with most these days? Are you Lemus? Who you got? Who's in your Rolodex right now?
Yeah, so obviously take family out of it. And I guess I could name other people, but I'll stay in the Flagler.
Stay in the Flagler
so
crew.
People know. I would say, the most people are probably Scott and Eric.
Okay. Yeah.
Not that I don't. By far, they're the most frequent. And that's not to say I don't keep in touch with other people. I'd say equal or close to them. A couple military buddies. But
you talked to Marshka in a while?
Yeah, so we probably Easter was last time we texted.
That's not too long ago.
Yeah, no, right. But it wasn't like when I say keep in contact, I mean like phone calls.
Okay.
Back to texting.
Back to sexting.
Did you really talk to someone if you texted 3 sentences? I mean, you definitely connected to somebody.
Right.
Check a little check.
Are you a Facebook Messenger guy? I'm not. I don't
Rarely.
Like that. Yeah, it's so unintimate.
Yeah, I actually have it, so I refuse to get the app because
I don't have the app.
Is so right until maybe about 6 months ago, and it was because of the job I had then and the job I have now. Well, actually, I guess the job I have now has been almost 8 months, so maybe a year ago.
It did go by quick.
Anyway, because we had a business account that would get stuff, and so I needed to answer it. You can switch back and forth answering accounts for. So I needed it for work. So byproduct, I do have it now. Oh my goodness! The other day reached out to Tony Pearson.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Versus Messenger, and he's about as much as I am. It takes 7 days to a 6-letter response.
Right.
So if you're watching it, Tony, we need to actually talk. But it looks like neither of us are good at texting or Facebook messaging.
You've never been a texter, anyways.
No. It's retarded.
You're a phone caller.
Not negatively retarded.
Yeah, you got to be careful now in these days. So
I'm a people person.
Do you remember? Because I do. Do you remember Jeremiah?
Yeah, if I run for office, they're going to play this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
He said this, and this. What a racist slur.
You should be run for something
I've been told that a lot.
You should.
We're getting the mayor of Brevard.
There you go.
Mr. Jimmy Harris. He's been the mayor for longer than I've lived there. And I figure when he wants to hang it up, I might throw my hat in the ring.
You got my vote from here. If I'll buy some votes down there for you.
Oh man! Now we've already committed. We've already committed voter fraud. Vinny's buying people in the 300-person town I live in.
Do you remember Marshka's bachelor party?
Yeah,
I love that.
I set that up.
I know you always are the guy. You're the travel agent. And for those that are listening, it wasn't like titties in Vegas. It was just
No, it was
bunch
a
of
stilts
dudes.
fishing shack hanging over not
A
the
lake?
Osceola. Well, it's a river, but it dumped into the lake in Central Florida. Yeah, between
Great
here and
times.
Tampa.
Great times.
Is it Osceola?
I don't know.
Anyway, regardless,
I
any of
remember
the country folk actually know that word.
somebody has those photos too. I wish we could go.
Oh God!
If you actually, when I remember looking at the photos, just like anything else, it started with us clothed sitting around a table, and then as it went on, people started getting thrown
Well,
around.
not everybody was closed because
No. The clothes start to come off.
Well, I was gonna say because some of them redneck boys, they walk in with the shirt off. So they by being clothed, it means their pants were on.
Remember, it started to pour, and we were outside, like on the basketball courts or something, and running around. Do you know? To this day, I really get to take credit for introducing Marska and Brittany.
Brittany,
I love that story. It was good.
Super funny.
She called him out. She wanted him. She said, "I'm marrying that boy." I said, "Okay, let me get you in touch. Let me see what I can do." And it's matched. I haven't actually. I'm really guilty. I've said this a few times. I'm guilty because I haven't really met anybody, the kids of our friends yet. I'm not in the.
I met Jeremiah's first, but I haven't met a second.
Okay.
Yet. And part of it was because for a long time he didn't live back in Flagler. He lived over near Tampa. So unless you were in Tampa, it wasn't like you were going to. And I was living in North Carolina, so it wasn't like it was a day trip. Over.
Right.
Yeah. But Robbie West just had a kid. I haven't met.
Yes.
I haven't met a daughter.
I feel bad. Before I left, Robbie has a trailer.
I met
for
all
sale.
Jeremy's kids. Yeah.
Okay, Jeremy. He's got like 18.
Yeah. I believe 3.
No, he's up there. He's got the 3.
Might be 4. I think it's 4.
Oh, I saw Griffiths yesterday at the Fields. She's got the 2. One was playing soccer.
I think I met her first one.
Yep. He's playing soccer already. It was cute. I was walking out to go practice.
I met Aaron. Aaron Donovan has not.
Aaron Donovan's got 2 because I just saw.
met her first, but not her.
I had that mix the other day. I had the hate team out.
Yeah.
They said I named them that, but I don't remember. They said that we were at Blockbuster one day. I wasn't with them, but I was at Blockbuster. What, timeout?
You're telling a story when you were at Blockbuster.
Yeah, baby.
I just wanted to.
We just opened one down the street.
You mean like they were like Netflix, but had a store?
Had a store. So I didn't even know this, but these are those little stories that make me so happy. So Whitney's telling me, Griffiths is telling me, like, do you remember when you called us the hate team? And I'm like, I just thought you guys were always the hate team. I didn't know I like coined it. She's like, no.
You were
you were at Blockbuster. And of course, obviously that was like, you had your chick or your significant other or a posse. So I must have been with a chick. And I was there and they walked in and I said, I guess to them, like, oh, here's the hate team. Because they could dish it. Yeah. They could dish it. And they take it too. But they were all out the other day. Dirty D, Griffiths, Connor. And who am I missing? I think that was about it. That little crew. Gibbs. Sorry, Gibbs. I love you too. Gibbs was out. But yeah,
there's that memory again, man. I guess I do have one. Because there's some days where I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, it's lockbox for you. You're doing good at it. But yeah, they were out.
You're making me feel good. Because I thought I was forgetting stuff.
No, you got it, baby. I'm like, who was it? So yeah, it was cute to see them. And I didn't know I had called them the hate team. But they were out. But I'm keeping in touch with Eric. And Eric's birthday is obviously on 4/20.
Blaze the weed up.
Yep. So I don't know if I got to call him this time, but I sent him a text first.
We need to do like a Eric/420 because it's one and the same, like Denver trip.
Yeah. Well, they just you ever done mushrooms?
Once.
I never done them.
But not like, I don't think it was like the real thing. It
was like pizza mushrooms.
On my pizza every Friday night.
I've never done them, but they just passed it. And I've basically a brother to me.
I was more of an alcohol person.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Yep. We all were.
Yeah. I never had if you mix it, you get sick issue. Mine was always if you have copious amounts, you might get sick issue.
Like you always got sick.
But it didn't have to do with mixing.
No, you weren't a mixer. But some of I don't want to say my best memories of you, but some of the funniest memories of you are when you hit your tipping point and you would do this one.
Oh god!
And I remember, I think it was
it's happened a couple of times
at the Wall residence. This one happened.
Yeah.
And you went like this, and it started to come out. But you were sound mind.
Yeah.
You weren't like losing it. You were like, I'm about to.
I had a bunch of asshole friends. I still call them friends. I don't know why. But it was like, Yeah, I might have been coherent or good to go, but it was like, you can't chug this 32-ounce beer. And it's like, after you've already had whatever.
I know.
It's like the chugging the gallon milk contest.
Oh.
There's not enough room for all that. So it goes down and then it comes out.
Well, you like to push it to the limit. You were the Bailey. You still Bailey's guy?
Straight up, son.
You love that Bailey's.
Straight up.
One thing I've never could understand you with that Bailey's.
Dude, it's not just me. I've turned a lot of people onto that.
Look, I don't mind having one. Like even right now, I could have a nice Bailey's something with you, but you are like the Bailey's. You should be their spokesperson.
Yeah, so I don't drink it as much as I used to. I don't drink anything as much as I used to.
I don't think. Well, hopefully none of us are.
Bailey's. Normally, when I get into it, it's like a nightcap, like a night drink,
okay.
or huge into cigars. So
You've always been.
Smoke cigars, a nice glass of Bailey's. Just that sweet against the bitter.
You're
100%.
I remember that was part of the Gentleman's Club.
Yeah.
By the hot tub, nice cigar. And that's when you're pairing it with something. But you could still remember when we were on the what were they? The car bombs for a while? At your house?
Irish car. Oh no, Flaming Dr. Peppers.
Flaming Dr. Peppers. I don't know why.
I haven't had one of those in at least.
I don't know why all of a sudden
10 years.
I kind of want one right now.
Years.
But
you know what's funny? I literally probably haven't had one in 10 years. Oh, I was getting a shower before I came over.
Stop it.
I almost
brought
the stuff to do Flaming Dr. Peppers. And I was like,
do you know if you actually.
But I was afraid I'd catch my face on fire. I'd have to blow it out before we did it.
The first show we ever.
Flaming Dr.
I don't know how that even happened, but I remember for a while.
I don't know. It would just happened, and it was like.
If you were hanging out at the Walt's house, you were, and we're talking, you had the big glasses in the cooler and the freezer.
Yeah, the frozen.
The real deal. And it was like, I remember setting them up, and it was like, it wasn't even, we didn't even start to be theatrical anymore. It was like, come on, let's do this.
Yeah, then you didn't fight anyone.
No one put up a
stink. Hey, there's 6 people here. We're making 6.
And the people that didn't know.
I'm not drinking tonight. You're like, that's fine, but you're drinking this. Yeah. And then you don't have to have anything else.
You didn't know, but you're having one of these. And you know what's funny? No matter who it was, would take it, and they would go, that was really good.
Yeah. They're like, it actually tasted like a Diet Coke. And I can't chug. It's like, it's soda. You'll be okay.
Yeah, a lot of those.
God, I hope like young people aren't out there.
No, it's okay. We don't whatever. But what we
were all 21 and older every time.
Yeah, right.
Actually, we were because I didn't drink in high school.
You didn't?
No.
Oh no, you were the quarterback.
I just always I went to parties. People smoked, people drank, whatever, and I was like, if I'm the captain of this or captain of that, and people are looking at me to be a leader, I can't be hounding them to not do things and then go do them myself.
No, you were good. You were.
So my full digression happened at #Florida State.
When you were at Florida State was when you met
still on Concord.
Chase was in the Army.
Yeah, but I met him at Florida State.
You did meet him at Florida State.
We both met before we joined.
I didn't know
and then
that.
We joined together.
And when he was at Chase, she's at FSU. Who was all there? Was Nathan Stark was there? Because you had a big crew. Donovan.
Both West boys. I'm gonna leave people out. I mean, we had just in our class alone probably had 40.
You had a big crew.
And then the subsequent classes before us. And after us, had at least 20 from each class. So
I guess it's not that rare, but it was still, you guys had a good, you had a good crew at FSU. I never made it. I think actually one time I made it near or around there, but I always hovered by UNF because of Bixby and Jimmy and Fetchy and that.
Right.
And it was kind of somewhat near the beach.
Well, there was a bunch of like little subgroups.
Right.
But we all, one way or another, overlapped to some degree, right?
We all still kept in touch. And this, by the way, I saw Kristen Chandler. I don't know her married name, sorry. But I saw she's posting there's a 20-year high school reunion. And they're all
Ty's coming.
Is he really?
Yeah, I was talking
for
to him.
that.
Yeah, he's coming for that. That's June 19th.
June something. Yeah, because I think she's going to come on the show because we've been staying in touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him. So I came down. I normally try to come down this weekend every year because my brother's birthday is May 14th, and it's always Mother's Day shifts depending on what Sunday it is or whatever it is. But it's always right around there. So my brother's birthday is actually Tuesday. Mother's Day is Sunday.
So you guys would just combine.
Yeah, so I try to come down. And then Ty's birthday is in June. So he typically tries to come. He's in Virginia, so he typically tries to come down too, and we'll do both birthdays and Mother's Day in one weekend, so everybody can see each other. He just couldn't make it this time. So part of it was because he's coming down for that. So
you guys have the pontoon thing, going.
Yeah,
so I saw photos of it.
My dad's one of his,
I guess,
dreams was to own a boat, and he's got one. And full disclosure, that's the only boat I would ever own. Not his boat, but
a pontoon.
A pontoon, because the maintenance is on the motor. You don't deal with all the other bullshit you deal with other boats. Otherwise, just rent one.
Right.
It's cheap.
I've played around with because I'm right here. You know, you see right there.
So that's another reason which they have a dock. So But I mean, what you're getting a skiff. You're getting a flat bottom boat. Like a center console is what you're thinking about again?
No, I was thinking about getting a jet ski or something stupid just to play around in. But even then, when you talk to people that have them, remember Scott used to have them.
But I mean, let's just say, what's a brand new jet ski? $15,000.
They get up there now.
So let's say it's $15,000. Let's just say that.
Right.
But you have to maintain it, park it, all what. That $15,000, realistically, what are you going to ride it 10 times a summer?
You're right.
So 10 times a summer, let's say a day rental is $400. So for one summer, it's going to cost you $4,000.
Right.
If you actually rode it 10 times. But every time you ride it, you're getting on a brand new one that's serviced and has gas on it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, I've always been ignorant towards the watercrafting because I never had one, but all my buddies did. Remember Stewie, his boat, and everybody.
Jet ski's probably cheaper than $400 too. That's more like a boat rental.
Yeah, well, who knows? But someone, it's funny. We have our first ever golf cart rental.
Now, the way to do it is you buy one, have someone else. You buy one for the marina, let them rent it out, and then you ride it for free when you want to, because then it pays for itself.
That's true, excluding the wear and tear on it, but
yeah, but that's
So comment. You're home what, like 2-3 times a year, if that?
Yeah. I mean. We rotate kind of holidays with Elisa's family. So we do every other year is Thanksgiving with the other one.
Okay.
So if we do Thanksgiving with that family, they're going to see us twice, because whoever gets Thanksgiving, not who gets it, but it's just how we control our life. Everybody's fair, whatever. Anyway, every other Thanksgiving. So if we're doing Thanksgiving with her folks, we won't see my folks that Thanksgiving.
Okay. Where's her family live?
Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, you said that.
And then so Christmas, I'm going to go barefoot too.
Go for it, babe.
Christmas, we do Christmas Eve, Christmas, whatever that 4 or 5 day, depending on the weekend, overlap together. And then the back end of that, we do the other family. So we always see everyone over Christmas. It's just we alternate whoever has actual Christmas Day.
Where are we at now? What's your rhythm? Are you on?
Thanksgiving with her folks this year.
Okay.
Which means, so we'll see them twice. We'll see them for Thanksgiving.
You'll see the Lemuses now because you'll be in Hotlanta, or is it?
Well, they actually.
Or they're
every Thanksgiving that I've known them, they go to Miami.
Oh, for Lindsay's
or
family.
They go to Palm Coast, so they're never in Atlanta.
Right.
So, but me and Eric actually own PSL's personal seat license and season tickets to the Falcons. So I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm a Bucks fan, but my wife's a Falcons fan. And this is a whole nother story, but
we got time.
Yeah, every year we were spending money to go see the Bucks. I want to see the Bucks, and they play in Charlotte and Atlanta every year. They're away games in division, and you start paying everything's third party now. You can't buy them directly from them unless you have a season ticket, right? So
where you buy your tickets from? StubHub?
Well, let me get to that.
Okay,
yeah, either Ticketmaster, resell, or StubHub. That's what I used to do.
Uh-oh.
And if both teams are good, you're paying $400 or $500. I mean, sometimes even to sit up top. If you want good seats or lower bowl seats, you're paying even more. So I was like, well, I should just buy season tickets, and I'll go to if we go to one game a year, it's Bucks versus Falcons in Atlanta. Elise gets to see the Falcons. I get to see the Bucks, and then we sell the rest of our tickets.
Smart.
So this will be the 3rd season or 4th season we own tickets. And so we had some upfront investment to buy the PSL, but then the tickets are reasonable. We go to 1 or 2 games a year, sell the rest of them, and we make enough money off the ticket sales that we're going to those 2 games for free.
Hell yeah.
I'm making my money back every year and get to go see the game that I used to cost me out of pocket with hotels and all that, $1,000, $1,500 to go to.
I've been starting to think about that because I got I don't want to go too deep into it because I got absolutely yoked. I bought tickets to go to a game, and I got literally I didn't know it then, but I what you said, the season ticket holders sell their tickets.
It's crazy, and we don't gouge.
You want to know?
I want to
really,
do enough money to cover myself.
You know what really pissed me off though? I'm in the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm already dealing with the fact that I knew I got yoked because coming closer to the game, I had a buddy of mine actually tell me, I bought him way in advance.
Yeah.
Because I talked to Lemus. Eric, I just called him. I'm like, dude, and he's like, bro. He like basically told me, you're gonna get yoked, but you have peace of mind.
Yeah,
like, you're going.
Yeah, because there is the chance that they'll all
100%. So I buy them knowing that I'm like kind of getting screwed, but I didn't know how screwed I was until I get the tickets and they literally say what the value of the tickets on there. And I'm like,
which you can just go online and see what
I know. So now I'm like dealing with that. So now we're there. Camille's next to me because
we got to fix your mind space.
Why? What do you mean?
You shouldn't worry about that.
No, I wasn't worried about it until this moment. Then I'm sitting now. I'm happy. Camille's next to me, which you pay more for joint tickets.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to buy a single ticket, you can get in there for basically free.
Free, yeah. No, I needed two because I almost even said, "I'm like, baby, sure you want to go on this thing?" But she was there. I'm glad she did. Anyways, the guy comes walking up, bro, and he comes up to me and he has his ID with his season. It's like an ID.
Yeah.
And it has a thing, and I wasn't budging. I was like, bro. I'm like, I had mine ready because I didn't know. I already was just worried. It was my first time ever buying.
Yeah.
So homie's like, hey, man, these are my seats. We're not even
the ones you're sitting in?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I go, like, and with no argument, very little argument. And I'm like at the equivalent of the Super Bowl game for this particular event.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. And goes and sits at like an open seat.
Yeah.
Leaves at halftime. I didn't think about it. I was in my bliss.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I go, you know what this son of a gun probably did? Sold the tickets, takes the gamble that I'm not going to be there. Or if I was just too much of a puss.
Just moved.
And I was like, oh, okay. And moved. He would have had, and dude, like I said, the dollar amount was absolutely nauseating.
You know what he might have done? Honestly, is he might have known it's like another layer to it, but it's a little more like, because you can get jacked up legally if you actually do that, what you're suggesting, which might have been the case. But let's say I own upper bowl tickets, you lower bowl tickets, and you sold yours. And I'm like, hey, Vin, I'm still going to the game. Let me get your ID because then I have access to that section.
Oh.
And then he went down there, and same scenario, though. If you show up, I'll just sit somewhere else. But if you don't, hey, I got my ticket, like, ready to go.
Either way, it's a racket.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
Yeah.
But it turned me on to the thought of, what if I did buy season tickets to somewhere that, like you said, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah, my whole thing was if I could just break even, then that means I'm saving essentially over the year what I would have cost to go to the game, $1,000.
How are you reselling your tickets? StubHub?
No. Official, whatever their version of it, but for their licensed partner with NFL, Ticketmaster. But it's the officially licensed Ticketmaster reseller, so you have to be verified through Ticketmaster, and they hold your tickets. Like there's no way for you to duplicate them, basically. And they've gone completely away from hard tickets. It's all like
digital,
and they give a new digital ID to like your scanner when you buy them. So like if I wanted to do it, like take a picture of it, recreate it, but when I put it on the market and it sells, they like change it, like mask it or whatever, so that people can't come in under the same ticket.
Eric is, I'm way overdue with seeing pretty much everybody, but he wants me to go up there for a soccer game. And I really,
he's been telling me for years he's going to take me to a soccer game. So he's only got 2 tickets, but we can figure it out.
I'll sit on your lap.
We can buy.
Yeah, they did, and they won. I think they won the league. The Atlantis team, they're on fire.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're killing it. He's very excited about it. But you have any trips planned?
No, that's
not normal. You always got something in the mix.
Well, I have so basically I was trying to plan like this big trip, and with everybody's shit going on, blah blah blah, whatever, couldn't really do it. So I have a couple. I have like 3 or 4 little trips basically over the summer. This being one of them, because I took today off of work and I did a half day yesterday.
Okay.
Get down here. Memorial Day weekend. Going up to
is that the end of the month?
2 weeks, literally 14 days from today. We're flying in Thursday night to Connecticut to see Scott.
Nice.
We're gonna spend the week with him. And
have you seen the little Bambino yet, or is this will be your first?
Yeah, no, I've actually seen him. I was the first one outside of the family that got to meet him, and it was funny. We were planning on doing a trip to go see him, and then we postponed it because I didn't want to get there right after that. You know how that goes.
No.
Anyone who's ever been around, my sister's had kids. We haven't had kids, but around someone who's just had a kid is like, let me get back into some kind of a rhythm that I don't even know I should be in yet before people visit. Anyway, I was out in Con for like domaining for my company, and I was flying United, and it was when the polar vortex came through, and I was supposed to connect through Chicago.
Oh, the big storm.
Shut down Chicago O'Hare. So they're like, you can stay in Vegas for another 2 days, or we can just route you through Newark, and you'll get back the same day, just like a couple hours later. I was like, cool, route me through Newark. Got to Newark, was in transit, like on foot to my connector to go to North Carolina, and they canceled the flight.
Oh, boy.
So I called Scott, and I'm like,
I'm coming over.
I know you just had the baby. This is February, maybe even January. I'm like, I don't have to come see you. I mean, you know, first of all, you know he's gonna say yes, right, Scott. But I was like, legit. I mean, he's the best man at my wedding, so it's like, if you say no, it's all good. I got people in the city I can go see, like whatever, yada yada. He's like, you can totally stay, but like, I'm not coming to pick you up. So I Ubered. Scott. Well, I lifted an hour and a half cab ride from the airport, and I had this is just luck of the Irish, but I'm not Irish, right? I had like just never had a Lyft before, just Uber. I downloaded Lyft because it's a little more popular than Uber in Vegas. And so I got like the free like 40% off thing or whatever. It was your first ride? Yeah, so I had like that for like 10 days.
Bravo.
And I ordered it just in time before like the surge, because that vortex basically had shifted and gotten to Newark about 8 hours early. Yep. So it was like in a blizzard, like negative whatever wind chill out there waiting on the lift. This poor dude, it was like his mom's birthday. He was like, I'm getting this ride to close out the day. It's a long ride. I'm going to make some money. And I don't know what Lyft paid him. I just know what I paid. And it was supposed to be, when I called it like a $90 thing, I wound up paying like $50.
Oh, because of the discount.
Because of the discount. And if it would have been like 30 minutes later because of the weather, the surge pricing would have put it at like $200.
Yeah, I was going to say, yep.
So I don't know what he got paid out. I tipped him well.
Yeah.
But I was like, that was the best money Scott Van Dusen had me pay ever in his life. I could pick up a $2,000 dinner in the future with like everybody's family there, and it won't be worth as much as that cab ride I got. So he didn't have to come pick me up.
I have yet to see the Van Dusen residence in Connecticut. I've seen photos. I was so happy for him. He would send me photos when he bought it and stuff, and was so happy for him. I had gotten a kick out of the fact when I went to see, it was so bittersweet. I went to Carib Court when they were selling the house, and it was emptied.
Yeah.
And Patty was laying on the couch, and I thought it was just another summer day. And bro, I literally
Patty V.
I said to her, I go, Patty, like, I sincerely actually didn't know what her plan was at that point. I think Scott had thrown a couple, like Woody had said, but I was just more like, Terry Baker and I went down there to kind of just say goodbye to the house, basically. Like that was, so we're there, and Patty's laying down. Yeah. Do a beer bong, and so I say, Patty, like, where were you? 'Cause at this point now,
do you remember? Oh, hold on.
No, let's remember it.
No, I just remembered a thought.
The beer when we were at the pool. I have great photos of that one.
But no, I remember that. No, we were there. You, Molly, Matt, maybe Scott. I don't remember what crew was there, but I had my ghillie suit in my truck, and you guys had me put it on and go lie in the weeds. I mean, I was like 12 feet from you guys, and you guys did no idea where I was.
For civilians, a ghillie suit is a...
Oh, yeah, so like a sniper suit. It's got the jute, which jute is the individual strands of burlap. It's like if you deconstructed a burlap sack, you'd have jute, the little pieces of yarn. And so you
put it on.
I put it on and went and laid out there. You guys just turned around.
I know.
I was like, okay, and you turn back around. I'm literally like 12 feet from you, and you guys are like,
couldn't find you
in the grass. I'm not like in the woods, and you guys are like, where did he go?
And then I remember Molly put it on and running around.
Yeah,
that was like a summer. That was a hot, stinky day too. I remember.
So when you were just saying that, standing out in the yard, I don't know why it just triggered that memory.
Well, dude, so many memories. I don't think Matt was there for that.
I don't remember. I know for sure
Molly definitely was there,
but there was somebody else there because we wouldn't have just
maybe Jimmy. Jimmy could have been in the mix.
Yeah.
But I remember, so we're there, and I say to Patty, I go, like, what are you doing? Like, I thought she was going to move to Connecticut to be next to the kids and everything. She said, in a very Patty way, I don't even know.
Going to South Beach.
Yeah. She's like, they're going to be too close to me. You know, like, she wants to go down.
Because they're a 16-hour drive or a 5-hour plane ride, and they're too close. So if I go another 45 minutes via air.
I hear she's she was renovating the place.
I've seen all the pictures.
You've seen it?
Yeah, I've not been there.
Unbelievable.
It's nice, yeah.
If Patty V's involved, it's definitely not shabby.
Well, it was Scott's brother got into it, and they basically designed it and renovated exactly how they wanted, with the idea that when Patty has had enough time on this earth, that it will then be their South Florida condo from, to escape the Connecticut winter.
And if you know Matt, if you know Matt Van Dusen, I'm sure it's
exactly.
To the
so
nines.
When you knew Patty, and then it's like multiply that to get to Matt's level.
So I guess she's got to be happy as a Clayman down there, and it was so, dude.
It's easier for her to get on a plane and fly up there too.
Oh, of course,
much easier commute for her.
Well. If I had,
you get old maintaining a house in general, but you get old and single lady too, man. That's like,
and she did a hell of a job keeping that Carib Court, dude. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you've been in that cul-de-sac.
Scott, when I went on the market, I'm like, Scott,
what?
If we buy it from your mom, what kind of discount can we get? He's like, my mom ain't giving us no damn discount. And he's like, actually, Matt's not giving us a discount because he needs the money for the condo.
Well, they call them the comps and like whatever's around. Dude, that cul-de-sac, when I went down there, I had no idea. There was always that big white house. Remember that dope white house?
Yeah, kind of like across the
street. Redone, looks like $1 billion. Dude, there are 2 other houses at the end of the cul-de-sac. Remember Beer Bottle Island?
Right. Well, that's where I was hiding. Yeah, where the grass used to be.
For those that don't know, Scott had an empty lot next to him our whole life. And I guess this isn't good to brag about, but of all the parties that we had in this cul-de-sac, you could not throw a bottle into this lot, which is really bad looking back on it, but we were young and stupid. Yeah. We used to throw our bottles back there, and you couldn't throw a bottle no matter where.
Without hitting another bottle.
A clank. And I can't imagine when they went to clear that lot, dude, they probably were like, what the hell is going on here? But anyways, there's a really beautiful, brand new mansion. Gorgeous. And I'm sure that really helped with the overall value. But yeah, if I had FU money, I would have bought the Carib Court.
Oh, God.
That view, you can't.
Well, just to have it.
Just to have it, and that view and the access to the intercoastal.
They're like, most people, you go out on your lanai, and that opens up to the deck around the pool, but theirs was like 6 feet above it. Mm-hmm. I've never seen that in any house I'm sure on TV, but in person, never seen that set up anywhere else. And it was cool to have that separation.
I think we're losing. We don't have much people in the hood anymore. I think the Matuzaks may still be there. I'm not sure.
No, they're gone.
Matuzaks are gone.
They moved down.
Lonjoy's house is for sale.
And his was just like a
2
couple ahead of
2 houses, 2 streets or 3 streets before. Dude, it's beautiful. They redid it. I looked on the real estate site that was on the other day. It was gorgeous. It was so funny. Lonjoy posted it, and he goes, like, this house is haunted. Yeah, you know him.
I saw it. Yeah, he got followed by
Indian burial ground.
Yeah, I saw it.
But yeah, I don't think we got anybody in the hood anymore in C-section. I think that was it.
Is Struhar's house still over that way?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just saw Chrissy the other day, though. She looks like a movie star. She looks so great. She got 2 kids. And I saw her mom, and their
Russell's house was over there.
Oh, the Russells. They still may be there.
I'm sure he's still rocking.
Yeah, they still may be there. That's true. I never went in that house, though.
I ran into Matt in Brevard.
Really? Just like
I was on break at the Subway.
There you go.
When I was working at the Racket Club, I went to get a Subway sandwich for lunch, and I was getting a sandwich.
And Matt Russell's like behind you,
or sitting down, and I was just like, Russell, and he was like, Blake, and I was like, he was up there with his wife and kids.
What's he doing? Doing a run or something?
They were coming up. Well, he used to go there to Brevard College for the running camp. It's every summer. It's still big there, and he said they try to bring the kiddos up there every couple of years, maybe not necessarily to Brevard, but the area. And I was like, well, let's like do breakfast or something before you get out of town. So we had a couple of days later, we had breakfast together.
I saw him. The Matuzaks are doing their running thing. Yeah. They time the runs, and they were doing one in Flagler. was
I'm
cold.
going to run in one
Are you really?
eventually, Danny.
Danny, he'll do it.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
No, I've told him. I was like, bro, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for the first one, and then no.
He's
Full supportive. Just
yeah.
have not actually run.
I support him with my dude. Do you know he still has my?
We talked about starting one in North Carolina, actually.
Should
In Asheville.
It's a fantastic. He was always. You know, I'm not kidding you. He was the first person I had ever heard in my immediate little life. We were probably still in our teens, and he had come up with the idea of using trailers like semi trailers as living quarters.
Oh, Connexes. Well, we call them Connexes in the Army, and we use the shit out of them.
And I remember like Danny was always whoa, scared me, Blake.
Sorry,
it's okay. Our first Blake's here. Here we go. And I remember he came up with that. I guess you're gonna have to get another one now. That's your foul.
You got to finish yours.
That's true. But dude, we were kids, and he's coming up with that. And to this day, whenever you see the play, it's become a thing now.
Yeah,
people are building.
Well, yeah, and it got exacerbated from the military's use. Instead of coming in building a permanent or semi-permanent structure or base or fire base, whatever you want to call it.
Let's keep this handy.
Yeah, a Chinook could come in, airlift it, and then just drop the Connex in place. There's no heavy machinery and. From the outside, it's metal. You can sandbag it. You can sandbag the top. It's reinforced steel. On the inside, they just have drywall and
it's genius. And here's Danny Matuzak, like a teenager, and he's telling me, like, "Hey, man, I got an idea using these trailers." And I'm like, "Dude, you're like on a net." So anytime I see them being used now, I send them to. I'm like, "Look at you were so." He's always ahead of the game, and I'm really happy with this race thing. But I saw him and Joey Matuzak at the Center of Flagler, and there was Russell just chilling. He looks great. I guess that's that runner world. He just looks good. He's probably.
Oh, I mean, when I saw him, he looked exactly like he did in high school. Minus, I mean, he had a little. You could tell he was a little older, the wiser look to him. Right. But I mean,
I guess that's what you get when you've never done whatever they call it.
Contrary, I was at the Matuzak's lake house. I don't know. Scott might have a better idea. Scott went up there and stayed with Joey and Danny and Mitch and Cindy at the lake house for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. 07, 08, 09, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I remember we were down on the dock or whatever, and Joey and Danny look very much the same. Like the runner body, they still run. They look, face stuff but they look the same. Like if you took a picture, a silhouette, they look the same. And we're on the dock, and I was like putting on a life jacket to get on the
jet ski.
I was like, what is that? Jet ski. And Joey, I remember, I don't know why, it's such a vivid memory. It comes up every once in a while. And Joey's like, Blake, when the hell did you turn into a man? It's like, I don't look like that. We're the same age. We graduated. I'm the same size. Where did all that come from? I was like, I don't know, man. It just happened.
It's all those flaming Dr. Peppers.
I guess.
So you're not your rhythm right now. You're not really a Monday through a Friday. You got a couple guys you meet at the local pub. Are you like what are you doing in the free time these days? Yeah, like what is if I lived near you? What would we
renovating
be doing?
My house? I'm working when I'm not working.
Just hitting screw.
Yeah, no. If you take that aside, I have a few guys I've gotten close to, and Elise has some ladies she's gotten close with. But a lot of it, honestly, it's just been like the home front just because of what we're going through with construction. But a buddy
You're still
of mine,
watching the football, I would imagine, like Sundays are.
Oh, we're all into that.
Yeah,
we got Fantasy Football League. My wife's in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's allowed? You could double dip in the same league? What if you win?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I thought you.
Well, we both have to pay. We both pay.
Oh, I see. So it makes it okay.
Yeah. And there's no if anybody trades, it has to be voted on and all that. Like if someone's just like,
who's your quarterback?
Well, we're not in season.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But last year we did the first season where we carried over players from the year before, and so my main quarterback's Rodgers.
Aaron.
Yeah, but he was kind of injured, so
he kind of screwed you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had the best team, but I lost. But that's how it goes, right? Yeah. Anyway, regardless. Yeah, so we're both really big into football.
So, like, if I called you, make pretend you're not house renovating.
Yeah.
If I called you, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, so Acosta Brewing, I'm wearing this.
What's up with this?
Oh, brewery in North Carolina. Done a lot of work for them and love them. Really small town, good folk, really a lot of like Flagler folk. And it's funny, Brevard is in the mountains, but the same type of the surfer type that you have here, you know, the bruh, they're in the mountains too. They just paddle or they're climbers.
Right.
It's just a different sport, but it's the same vibe. And so that's the whole vibe with this brewery. So we're there a lot, done a lot of work for them. In the future, I might try to partner with them, become,
nice.
you know, part owner or something.
Now, you've gotten to go to, on a side note, you've gotten to go to Eric's Pontoon.
I almost wore his shirt today, actually.
Yeah, he's going to be mad. He's going to be really mad. See what you're doing? You're rocking somebody else's random beer place.
Well, it's not random. It might be random compared to Eric's, but
you guys got to go. I remember, actually, yeah, we were FaceTime on a New Year's.
2 New Years ago.
Yeah.
So a year and a half ago.
That day,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Blake, thank God I forgot about this, but I remember being on the phone with you guys for we were like drinking on the FaceTime for a minute.
Yeah. No, that was a lengthy call. That was the last super long call we had. It was just
We've done that a lot, though.
Ago.
I remember that next day, you know that I was actually like getting ready to go to bed, and I thought I would just FaceTime you guys.
I know, we made you pound beers.
I remember like, hey, guys, Happy New Year's. I love you. Of course, I was.
One of those we got to go moments. I did that night with Eric.
With it?
No, like on his behalf.
Oh, he
was Jimmy.
Oh, whoa. Eric had a Jimmy moment?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Eric get Jimmy. Wow.
We were unchaperoned one time in Brevard. This is before he started his brewery. And Akusta wasn't there, but there were three breweries in town. And I set up with kind of like the ownership, the head brewer. I was like, my boy's coming in town. He started a brewery. Can we have a tour? Can you give us some like business pointers, whatever, yada, yada. And he came up, and it was in October, beautiful weather in North Carolina. Leaves are changing, cool. Not for a campfire at night, but like in the day, you can still wear shorts if you wanted to. And Robert Dye, one of my professors from the wilderness program I did there, he does an asado, basically an open flame lamb grill every homecoming. And it was Brevard College homecoming. So he always does it that weekend. And it was also, they call it Oscar Blues, their East Coast distribution point, who does Dale's Pale Ale. That's their famous beer, but started in Longmont, Colorado, but their East Coast distribution point's in Brevard. And they took over the Halloween festivities and the /beer festivities, Oktoberfest, Germany. And they call it OSK, O-S-K as in Oscar, Osktoberfest.
Okay.
And so it's a blend of Oscar and Oktoberfest. Anyway, so it was that weekend too. And he came up.
Who is this, Eric?
Eric, without Lindsay. And it was, Elise wasn't living with me. We weren't even been like official at that point. So it's just the two of us. Eric, sorry if your work sees this. And we hold on, I gotta pee, and I'll pee. Yeah, do you gotta pee?
Nope.
Well, get us 2 beers and I'll pee.
You got it. Eric. No, right there to the back. Yeah, the dogs can't get you, and even if they do, you'll make friends with them. Blake, you should sign the guest book in there. You see it? Whitney's texting us. This podcast has been a message joy. I've been. I love you. First time I have you. Blake, what do you got going on later today? Okay. That's good, though.
I'll sign after the show.
Yeah, after the show.
I'll sign the book.
You got family things? Sorry, man. Whitney texted us, so I was just responding.
What did she say?
She said this show is making me happy or something. So, duh.
What were you gonna say?
So Eric lost his marbles.
Yeah.
What are you using? A knife?
No,
A scissors?
Bro,
Blake. I'm not that poor. I do have a bottle opener.
yeah,
Don't spill anymore either.
I'm
Look
not
at you,
going-
spilled everywhere.
well, that was funny. I knocked over the empty one. That knocked over
I'm having so much fun with you. I love you.
So yeah,
Just-
Eric. Well, so Eric.
Yeah, you
know
need
I'm
a- you need a
talk with
bib?
my Hands guy.
No, I know you did it. It's okay. I swear you got some.
Eric. So
you got Italian in you. You don't
he
even know it.
comes up for the Oktoberfest / beer learning, investigating, before they invest and open this brewery in Atlanta. And Sandy Springs is where their location is. Pontoon Brewing. Plug. Anyway, so he's up and we go do all this stuff. Unchaperoned, as in
No.
at least we were their boyfriend, girlfriend, or she wasn't living in town or with me, or she was out of town. Lindsay didn't come. It's just the two of us.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah. Long story short, I mean, you go on brewery tours / owners, they're going to give you a beer, right? You go to an
Mhm.
OC, give you a beer, they go, beer. We get a couple growlers. We're at the Asado. My professors got beer there. We brought the growlers there. We're drinking more than we're eating, which lends to like bad stuff.
But
Then we go back to one of the breweries we started at. There's live music downtown. Yada, yada, yada. There's literally, when I say no, I mean 0 taxis in Brevard. Uber and Lyft don't exist there.
oh, really? Still
So-
to this day?
Yes.
You don't need them?
Yes, we need them.
I'm starting one.
So we're walking back, which is 1.5 to 2 miles from downtown, but we're walking on like a windy road. There's no like shoulder.
Right.
And along the way, Eric starts busting my ass like verbally for something. And he ends up like taking off his shoe and chucking it at me because I was on the phone.
Oh, he's
Probably
mad.
thought
He gets
was
mad. Yeah, he's mad at
Yeah.
you. Yep, I could see
This is
this.
bullshit.
Right,
I'm
right,
like,
right.
okay, whatever. Throws this shoe, and I'm like, bro, it's cool. And winds up throwing another one at me. And so I gave him a little like to the ribs.
Yeah, you're good at those.
Legitimately broke his rib. We'll get to that in a second.
No, you didn't.
Legit.
Bro, I really like these types of stories.
It's
I like old
ridiculous.
stories, but is he down on the
No,
ground
so-
or is he playing it off?
So
Eric's really
one and the
fragile.
same, right? He's a frail guy,
He's
and he was getting legit. Like
I know. I've seen
I went
him.
up to him because
He's getting punchy. I know. He's getting punchy. I
Yeah.
can see that.
And so it got too
But
much.
you gave him a little.
No, and so I just gave him this like a little like locked him up and just
Oh, you
gave him
locked?
just a one. Yeah, so like I had him under his arm.
Yeah, but you always
and I
been so
just-
strong. You don't even
I
know
just
it.
Gave him just one. My wife gets it. She's like, I need 10%. I'm like, that was 5%.
No, you give too. You're
Yeah.
too strong. Okay, so
Anyway,
now
So
I'm saying he's not on the ground
but
at that
he's-
point.
No, but he's like drunk, so it's just like, ha ha. So we're walking. Anyway, we're walking now on this curved road, not the sidewalk road.
God.
And he just like takes a spill into the ditch, which is like a 4-foot drop off. He's in a swell. I'm in the swell, picking him up, like trying to put him on my shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, my rib!" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "My rib." I think he's right. He's like, "From when you punched me." I was like, "That was a mile ago. What? It hurts now?" But I guess the way I put him on, so
Right.
I'm like trying to get him and not get his rib. And my roommate at the time, also named Eric, pulls up in a regular 2-door, 2-seater Jeep, no back seats.
Oh boy.
And he sees us. I mean, it's the middle of nowhere. It's like if we were walking in Hall Creek.
Okay.
It's the
so you're in
equivalent
the,
of
you're in
like
the
yeah,
sticks.
and no sidewalks, no nothing. And he like puts his high beams on, and he slams on the brakes, puts it in reverse, comes back, and then we're like in the headlights now. He's like, Blake, and I'm like, Eric, and Eric's like, Eric Lemus is like, yes, and I'm like, no, Eric, my roommate, and Eric's like, yes. So I got to get him out of the ditch. I put him in the back of the Jeep, like the tailgate portion,
Oh
and then
my
I get in the
God.
front seat, and
Is
he drives us
screaming
home.
in agony?
He's like slobbering on himself because
Yeah. Give me a. What are we? 3 a.m, 2 a.m.
Sure.
The sun coming up.
No, not
Okay.
that way. Yeah, so somewhere in the 2 to 3, 12 midnight to 3 window. I
Okay,
don't know.
we're one of those.
So my roommates give me a ride home, us a ride home. The next day he's like in hell, Eric
Oh.
hell. He has to drive back to Atlanta.
With
It's
a
Sunday,
Broken rib.
and he can't find his shoe because he fucking
course,
threw it
they're
at me.
gone.
He has one of them.
Sandals, probably
So
some Jiffy sandals he
walks
has usually.
He walks into his house wearing a single shoe and like takes it off to like try. And Lindsay's like, "Why don't you have shoes on?"
Right.
Eric, why don't you have
With his
shoes on?
Stank Jiffy feet he got going
She's like,
on.
something happened. You don't come in the house without shoes on. Anyway, so she caught him red-handed right there. She's like, this is why we don't let y'all hang out unsupervised. So that rolls into literally goes to the doctors a broken rib. They don't do shit. There's not like a body cast.
You can't do anything.
Yeah, so he's like, not to digress too much into personal life or whatever, but he's like, bro, I can't piss. I can't have sex. I can't cough. You screwed me. I was like, you shouldn't hit me in the face with a shoe.
He always Eric, he can get punchy. He can get punched. He needs the love, the attention.
Yeah.
I can see you guys walking right now, and he's mad because you're on the phone. You're probably who are you calling? At least
I was probably talking to at least.
Yeah. And you're romantic.
Like, hey,
You're
I'm
being-
on my way home.
You're
We're
being
getting a heads
romantic
up,
bear.
whatever.
You're doing your little mumble and talk. And Eric's probably like, hey, what about me? And I can see him. He loves the shoe.
Yeah.
He loves the shoe throw. He always has busted Jiffy sandals too. So he doesn't. That's why they're disposable. He probably had branded Corona sandals
that were free with the 12-pack.
We're free that give you like blisters.
You buy Jack Daniels, you get a highball glass. You buy Corona, you get sandals.
The minute you put them on, your feet are bleeding. Man, so yeah, he broke his rib. This has got to be though. This is pre-marriage.
Yeah, and then it's pontoon.
Pre-pontoon.
But I was living in Brevard.
Yeah.
So it was probably, and it was before I graduated because the asado that my professor put on, it was only for alumni. But back to me being old as fuck and in college again. He's like, you can come. Even though you're not an alumni.
Come here, Pops.
You're going to be older than most people that attend this.
I loved when you were doing this, the football.
Yeah, so that was that.
I'm guilty. I got to go up there. I got to give Eric a hug. I haven't even met. I'm really bad with my friends' kids' names too. What's his kid's name? Aha! Just versus me.
You just jacked me. I almost said Leo, which is not correct.
You could make it up.
It's Little Lemus.
It's Little Lemus. Yeah. Of course it is.
There's another Lemus that can't speak Spanish.
He'll get it. Felix.
No.
100%
wrong. This is when my wife comes in and she's like, it's Jeremy. And I'm like, yep, it is.
Duh.
It's not Jeremy.
Well, we're not doing it. I don't want to do it, but we're getting comments.
It's Wesley, which is Wes. It's Wes. 100%.
I disagree.
Hey, live.
Oh, see, this is where I get
we're betting.
No.
Yeah.
Or how about
100% it's Wes.
Well, I'm gonna lose.
You just said I didn't know, and I know.
No, you know. I take. Well, last time I did this, I got a bamboo stick to my ass. I'm not doing that again, dude. I can remember like yesterday. That hurt so bad.
Yeah, I swung as hard as I could.
So bad. Do you guys remember we were throwing those balls at each other at the pool at the beach?
Yeah, at the X-Pac.
Oh God, why were we so hurtful?
With the underwater camera, which was like the first time anyone had seen one. We're like, oh,
who
pictures
was that,
underwater.
Scott? It's probably Scott's.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was Scott's second one.
Yes.
Like, how do you have a second one? It just came out yesterday. He's like, it actually came out 2 years ago. Oh, cool, Scott.
I remember that underwater camera. You know, it's so funny. Like he always had the cool stuff. But yeah, why is that just a dude thing that's hurting each other? We were always trying to hurt each other.
Well, I mean, if you digress to humanity and caveman and pack mentality, there's a pack leader or alpha male or whatever you want to say it. And it doesn't, if there's 10 dudes or there's one dude or there's 40 dudes, it doesn't matter how A type or B type or C type, even if there's no true alpha male, somebody is more that than everybody else.
It's true.
So
true. Yeah, but you have superhuman strength. Yep. You do.
Yeah.
2 times. I remember a couple times I've had my friends show me their strength. Scott's got superhuman strength.
Well, there's the superhuman. There's the I got raged out and I just like the Hulk. The Hulk. You just didn't turn green, but you hulked out.
Scott hulked me. Well, I'll never forget New Year's, probably junior year of high school at Fetchy's house. Scott hulked me. Scott hulked me hard.
Sounds about right.
And I deserved it too. I'm not going to go into detail why I did, but I deserved it.
Well, that's what I got you in Costa Rica.
What was I doing though? You were
You
just
stole
mad
my
at me.
covers.
Yeah.
You kept messing with me. I was like, go to bed. And you were pissed
Yeah.
you were sleeping on the couch.
I
You were
think-
pissed you were sleeping on the couch.
I was so
And I was
mad.
like, Vinny, go to bed or something bad's going to happen. And you thought it was funny. You still pulled my covers off.
I know.
And I moved like a damn panther. I was on you like the Predator. Real
You
quick.
did like 3 moves. You were like, the next thing you know, I was like on the floor, and I remember being like, Blake just got me. I deserved it though. I was so mad. Even Molly was mad at me then too. I remember.
Everybody, you had one of the nights.
I didn't want the
everyone's
night
had them.
to end.
Right, and you got to the point where no one was on or had any interest in being on your level.
I know.
And you were unhappy about it.
It was sad. I remember that.
Yeah.
Everyone was going to bed, and I was like, I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even
It ended.
it ended. It ended real quick. I was parallel with the ground in 0.07 seconds. But yeah, you have superhuman strength. I can't imagine Eric broke. He never told me that.
I probably Lindsay's the only other one who knows that story.
Well, now
And
everybody
now
else.
The internet.
Eric broke the internet. If we're even still on, I don't even know anymore. Eric broke his rib.
Holy
So-
balls! It's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, like I said, I don't know. All I have is someone coming at 1, but we've got time.
Oh well, why
you
don't
good?
we say goodbye to Facebook Land?
Want to
and
say
then we
goodbye to
can-
Facebook
We
Land and
can
make
talk off mic,
don't break
off the record.
off the record. Well, yeah, I love you so much. I can't, like I said, this is for anyone that's listening. You are welcome to come and do this with me.
You
If this
should.
Did you feel?
Well, I got
love-
into it. I mean, I like podcasts in general. You talk about Rogan a lot, and I know this wasn't informative or like that, but it's all relationship based, and specifically with what you're doing in Flagler County. And you talk about alumni coming on, but even people who, I mean, I wasn't born here, so I'm truly not. I mean, I consider this is my home.
Right.
But people ask where you're born, I'm like Colorado, and they're like, "What?"
I don't even.
Yeah, most people don't know
You're
that.
Palm Coast B section, baby.
Anyway, so what I was getting at is just seeing all these people come in, and I almost said McDonald. Me and Raby tried to connect several different times through the years and crossed some paths in the military, and just never have talked on the phone once or twice, more so have texted. And so I saw him on a couple of weeks ago with you, and I was like, oh my God. And it was after I had already said I'm coming on the show, which was like back in January. And I was like, bro, I'm coming on this. He's like, how was I? Was I okay? Did I do this? I'm like, yeah, man, like, it's chill. Anyway, so I say that to say this, which is anyone who has a connection with either Vinny, as he used to be, or the area in general, or just have a good message. I think it's good to
Yeah, man.
put that positive stuff out. And I think just whether you know any of the stories we're talking about, I think that similar to what I get out of people being on the show is the positivity and the like friendship that's comes out on the microphone. So hopefully that wasn't too deep.
Eric's probably calling or texting now, but no, I appreciate that. You have this whole, and I thank you for saying that, man. Because if and I know a lot of people can't like watch in the moment. I got some haters are like, you're doing them at 11 o'clock on a front. I'm like, look, man, I get it. I know you're not be able to listen to it.
Haters
at that moment.
gonna
Haters hate, but listen to it if you want when you can. Kill it out. Like if you have a commute,
Nobody else is setting it up and doing it. If you don't like the time, set up your 9 p.m. on Fridays.
yeah, play it when you want to play it.
And
But
then everyone who's at the bar won't watch. And then you can get yelled at.
and don't break a rib. But no, the whole the silver lining to the show is just to have a good time and to you know what I like more than anything though is that these are very special to me because we have history. But even those people that I don't know, I love learning and making myself like I like making myself or being felt small, like knowing that I don't know everything. I'm not the coolest. There's always someone that's got it, that's read more, been places, and learn from other people. And like, it's really important to surround yourself by people like that you just can learn from. And this has been kind of the byproduct of that. So that's why the Rogan aspect is what it's all about. Is
I mean,
learning.
he's where he is now is different from where he started.
Yeah, it's true. But I love you very much. I guess we'll wrap up so we can do some off
FPC.
FPC.
Hey, who let the dogs out?
Oh boy. No. Now we broke the net. All right. I love you. I'm going to end these here. Love you, peoples. Boom. I can't believe Facebook stayed on.